Tonight, the stage is set for a clash of titans. The stakes couldn't be higher. The Edmonton Oilers, powered by speed, skill, and the relentless energy of Connor McDavid, are on the brink. A victory here and they force Game 7. But lurking in their path, a team hungry for glory. The Florida Panthers, led by the fierce and unyielding Matthew Tkachuk, are poised to finish what they started, one win away from the ultimate prize. The tension is palpable, the energy electric, the clock ticking down. Every shift matters, every play could be the difference. One team will fight for the comeback, the other will seize the moment and claim their place in history. The Oilers, the Panthers, Game 6, the ultimate showdown. The wait is over, the time is now. It's all on the line, and it all starts right here, right now. The Stanley Cup Finals, Game 6.
The Florida Panthers have won their first cup. Listen and look at the sound of a Stanley Cup champion.
We welcome you to Emirates Bank Arena for game number 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. Everybody rushing in to go see this game. We could potentially see the Stanley Cup here tonight if the Panthers win here in Sunrise, Florida. They lead the series 3-2. If the Edmonton Oilers win, we will see you for Game 7 in Edmonton, where it will be a do-or-die situation to fight for that Stanley Cup and win it. Welcome everybody, I'm Max, delighted to have you with us here. And game number 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. This is going to be very good to watch, very entertaining game. Hopefully to see here tonight. And for the Oilers, they need to get a lead early on. They have not played well in first periods. They have been outscored 11-4 in this series by Florida. And since the start of the game number 3, they have been outscored 7-0 in the first period. They need to fix that quickly, or else if they fall into another deficit, it might be it for the Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid trying to get his first Stanley Cup. If the Edmonton Oilers would have to win, they'd have to win regardless. If they do win, it'll be a Game 7 on Friday night in Edmonton. It'll be different from last year. But if the Florida Panthers were to win tonight, it'd be the same exact way, basically, where they won last year in this same situation back at home. And they look to do it here tonight, and let's see if they can get it done here tonight. They have led for 200 minutes and 25 seconds compared to 33 minutes and 51 seconds. The Oilers have not led for more than 7 minutes since in the past 3 games, actually. Only in Game 4 they led, actually, at that point. Game 3, they did not lead at all. Game 5, they have been trailing throughout the whole series, or trailing. Regardless, they have been trailing a lot in this series. The comeback in Game 4 might have been lucky because they're in that same situation where they have to try to not face elimination here. And let's see if they can get the job done. We'll send it over to the scoreboard and we'll listen to the national anthems and more as we welcome you, if you're just joining us here tonight, the Stanley Cup Final here at Emirates Bank Arena in Sunrise, Florida. The Florida Panthers have a chance to go back-to-back. Or will the Oilers force a Game 7? That will be the question leading into tonight's game as we welcome you in, as this is a very big game. It will test whoever is ready in this one. The first 10 minutes are going to be crucial. The first 10 minutes are going to be crucial in this game for sure, as we will see if the Oilers can bring their best. Draisaitl said we still haven't seen our best. Tonight would be a great time to show it. It might be a little bit concerning that their best has not shown up just yet in 5 games. But can they get it going late and try to push this to a Game 7 in Edmonton? That'll be the question. Or will the Panthers go back-to-back and we'll see another Stanley Cup in Sunrise, Florida, and another celebration inside the arena, and another Stanley Cup celebration and ceremony by Gary Bettman and all those people. Bill Daly as well. We will see if we will see it here tonight. Florida has a chance to be the first team to win back-to-back Stanley Cup championships on home ice since the 1987-1988 Edmonton Oilers. So they'd break that record, or they want to break that record. They would have that same mark like those Oilers when that was Gretzky's last cup with the Oilers and in his career. Since 2001, the Colorado Avalanche, the Tampa Bay Lightning, Pittsburgh Penguins, and Boston Bruins all won the final 2 games of the final when down 3-2. The Oilers looking to do the same. Stuart Skinner's been great when facing elimination in his career. He's 9-10. Or not 9-10. 5-2 record, a .910 save percentage. He's 3-1 last year when facing elimination. And has some lineup changes for the Oilers as Kapanen and Klingberg are in. And Arvidsson and Stetcher are out for tonight's game. Can the Oilers solve the mystery or the brick wall of Sergei Bobrovsky? We will see. We'll be back in just a moment with Game 6, national anthems, and more. We welcome you back to Sunrise, Florida, as the anthems are about to begin.
United States Army Air Corps, thank you for your service and dedication to our country. Please rise and remove your caps for the performance of our national anthems. Signed tonight by Florida resident and deaf performer with PXP, John Paul Javier. Here to perform O Canada and the Star Spangled Banner, please welcome Matthew Bischoff.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see your eyes, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
John Paul Javier. Please, his drummer, Hockey Hall of Fame goaltender,
The crowd's ready for sure here in Sunrise, Florida, as they are chanting, "Let's go Florida." Roberto Luongo banging the drum as the crowd is loud. As, wow, an insane atmosphere inside of Emirates Bank Arena, a loud one as well. The crowd is standing here. The puck is about to be dropped. They're waving their towels as they could see another Stanley Cup championship in the state of Florida. And for their Panthers, for the second year in a row. They just need one more win as we're underway in Game 6. Forsling picked up the puck off the faceoff. Ekblad off the boards, turned it over there at the blue line. Perry is offside 10 seconds into game number 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. They have the top line out there, McDavid, Perry, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. That has been regularly that top line and throughout this whole series for the Edmonton Oilers. It's very important for them to try to score first, get some momentum going. McDavid with 33 playoff points, 23 points in 14 elimination games. It's going to be another icing here. 6 seconds after the faceoff, after it was offside on Perry. And icing by Florida. Put it back in the Florida zone now. See if they can generate some offense here as the Panthers and the Oilers in Game 6. Off the faceoff, Ekholm's shot was blocked out in front by Verhaeghe. A huge block early on. That was a very hard shot there by Ekholm. Panthers have led for more than 200 minutes in this series. The Oilers with less than 40 minutes leading in this series. Rimmed all the way around. Luostarinen trying to get to the loose puck. Pressured by Ekholm. Along the boards, it comes free from McDavid. Chipped it to Perry, who flips it out to center ice. Mikkola now with the puck. A huge hit there from center ice from Perry. And lifted back in the Oilers zone. Kulak passes it across. Flipped up into the air, and it's picked up here by Seth Jones, who is pressured by Kapanen. Comes into the lineup. Draisaitl gets a huge hit there on Mikkola. Along the boards, it's fought for off the turnover. Luostarinen, Lundell turned it over. Kane! Save Bobrovsky! Loose in the crease. It's loose still, and it's covered. I thought they had blown the whistle originally. The hit from Perry on Marchand at center ice resulted in him losing his helmet. Then Draisaitl basically shoving Mikkola without even having the puck. Lundell with the turnover, and that was squeezing in between the 5-hole of Sergei Bobrovsky. I don't know where the puck, it was between there. Between the pads. So a minute and 12 in, an opportunity for the Oilers to take the lead, but a save by Bobrovsky prevents that there as Bennett looks to win the faceoff. He will off the scrum, off the draw. Loose along the boards is fought for, comes free for Bennett, and the Panthers will look to transition. Tkachuk chips it out to center ice, and Draisaitl will put it back into his own zone with Kulak. We'll move it up here into the middle for Nurse. Dropped it off, shot, whiffed on. As Kane couldn't get the shot cleanly away. Bennett the other way, picks up the puck. On the rush, Sam Bennett is in with some speed. Dropped it off, Tkachuk over the net. Mikkola try to rim it around. Instead, it's knocked down there again by Mikkola, who holds it in. Pressured by behind by Frederick. Mikkola circling behind the net. Pressured by Frederick. Bennett will get it in the corner along the boards. Sent it behind the net for Tkachuk. Pressured by Nurse. Draisaitl will pick it up now. We've passed more than 2 minutes here in the first period. Here in Game 6. Dumped back in by Edmonton. Nurse to the loose puck. Mikkola trying to get it. Turned over to Kane behind the net. Scrum along the boards. It's trying to get pride for there and comes free and held in the line by Wallman, who shot it wide of the net. Nosek, and now Henrique picks up the puck now. Behind the net now are the Oilers trying to put some pressure on the Florida Panthers. Wallman across for Klingberg. Shot well wide of the net. Jeff Skinner will rim it all the way around to the point. Klingberg shot deflected wide of the net. Gadjevich trying to get it. Wallman instead makes a move with the puck but then lost it. Held at the line though by Henrique. Skinner, and it's shot over the net. Wallman holds it in once again, and the Panthers can't clear it. Skinner shot. Save made by Bobrovsky. And now a scrum behind the net. Skinner was trying to poke at it, and everyone bullies him behind the net now. Oh, my. So Edmonton early on has the shot advantage 4-0. And they might be ready here in Game 6. As several opportunities for the Oilers could have been goals. Skinner with this chance right into the midsection of Bobrovsky, and then Skinner tried to go for more, and he got met by some Panthers in an unfriendly way. Bobrovsky's been big in these playoffs. A .912 save percentage. 15-7. Just needs one more to go back-to-back. 2.26 goals against average and 3 shutouts in these playoffs. Stuart Skinner is starting tonight, 7-6, 2.99 goals against average, a .891 save percentage, and 3 shutouts as well for Skinner. Collision at the blue line there, and Tkachuk fell down. Here's Rodriguez with the puck, looks to move it up. He will. It's dumped back in by Bennett from the blue line. Kulak pressured by Tkachuk from behind. Pressured still. Hit there by Bennett on Brown. Loose along the boards. Connor Brown gets it, turned it over instead. Rodriguez will feed it back to the point for Schmidt, who sends it across. Kulikov's shot wide of the net. Off the side of the net now, and Rodriguez will pick it up on the backhand. Up high again, Kulikov. Across for Schmidt. Shot deflected, saved by Skinner. Kulak. Then Janmark has the puck and will look to move it up. Banked it off the boards for Nurse. Lost it at center. Podkolzin will retrieve it and dump it back in. Stuart Skinner out to play it. Left it on the platter for Kulak. Behind his own net. Pressured by Verhaeghe. Kulak stretches it up the middle of the ice there. Knocked down there. And Perry. Now Forsling will pick it up now. Across for Reinhart. Dumps it back in from center. Skinner out to play it. And off the glass. Barkov will get it behind the net. Now Verhaeghe. Lost to the Ekholm, and Bouchard is pressured by behind by 2. Barkov and Verhaeghe. Now Ekholm picks up the puck off the scrum. It's getting real pushy here, and another knockdown there of a player. The shots are still 4-0 as they read right now. Turnover here. Reinhart in the move. Scores! Sam Reinhart, a highlight reel goal. What a goal by Sam Reinhart. Less than 5 minutes in. It is 1-0 Florida. What a move. A beautiful move. Gets through 2 defenders, Bouchard and Ekholm. Puts that on the glove side of Skinner. That's the first shot for the Panthers in the game. And it is 1-0 in favor of the Panthers here in Game 6. Wow. And so the Panthers, on their first shot, have a 1-0 lead. That's how it's been working in this series, apparently. Marchand will pick it up now. And moved up here by Lundell. Shot into the glove of Skinner. Will make a save. And so the Panthers with the early advantage here in Game 6. It was a bad pass by Ekholm, who was looking to move it up. I think it got deflected off the skate of Marchand. No, it didn't. It's just a bad turnover there by Bouchard at the blue line. And then Sam Reinhart splitting through the defense makes it a 1-0 lead. Wow. A highlight reel goal for sure. Lundell save! Oh, right off the face-off. In the slot, it was quick, but almost beat Skinner again. Outscored the Oilers 12-4 in the first period of this series. They've scored first in 5 straight games, the Panthers, and they're looking to win the Stanley Cup here tonight. So Oilers still with a shot advantage, but the Panthers drawing first here in game number 6 of this series. Henrique, and then off the face-off one here by Nosek. The 4th line out there for the Panthers. Shot wide of the net. Greer will get it behind the net. Off the side of the net. Shot off the post. Go back to the point. Florida's feeling it right now. Nosek behind the net. Pressured along the boards. Frederick tied up, and Henrique will look to move it up, and he will. Nurse to Kulak. Oilers look to transition. Kulak angled off the puck by Nosek. Great play there by Nosek. Jones will look it up and move it into the middle. Greer will dump it back in. Nurse is holding him from behind. Skinner will get to the loose puck first. Then Kulak off the boards. Will lift it up in the air. Kapanen does not know where it was. Retrieved by the Panthers. Bennett. Shots are 4-2. Turnover here. Kapanen will get it. Will pass it across at the point for Klingberg. A 4-game point streak for Reinhart. 4 goals and 3 assists in that streak. He has been a crucial player in these finals for the Panthers. Along the boards, Bennett will pick it up now. Schmid off the boards again for Rodriguez. Klingberg pressuring him at center ice. Along the boards still, Schmid trying to fresh it free. And it comes free there. Arvidsson will pass it across for Wallman, who rimmed it all the way around. Schmid along the boards, pressured by Kapanen and Nurse. Up high again. And Nugent Hopkins angles in off the puck. Reinhart will pick it up now. Onside, Sam Reinhart making a move. And he got it poked away by Wallman. Barkov will get it now. Along the boards, Reinhart. Kane pressured him. Shot from the boards was blocked. Held in by Verhaeghe. Reinhart leaves it for Verhaeghe again. Verhaeghe to the point. Ekblad shot. Blocked out in front. And it comes out to center ice. And it looked like a cross-check that the Oilers got away with one there. Barkov to Verhaeghe. And he shot it wide off the change by the Oilers. Shots are even at 4. But a rush here by McDavid, who tried to chip it in. McDavid trying to get through, and Bobrovsky plays it. Not out of the zone just yet. Draisaitl and Perry collide. Couldn't get the puck, and Barkov gets it behind the net. Verhaeghe. Pass across there for Ekblad. Stretches it up, and it's out of the reach of Marchand, and it's going to be an icing on the Panthers with 12:42 to go in the first period. Here in Game 6, a 1-0 lead. Preliminary Olympic roster. Players in tonight's game. Connor McDavid for Canada, Leon Draisaitl for Germany, Barkov for Finland, Reinhart for Canada, and Matthew Tkachuk for the USA. That's for the Olympics next year. We had that 4 nations this year. We're going to have that next year, our coverage of that, the hockey. Sam Reinhart with his 8th goal of these playoffs, 4 in this series. That was unassisted. And he makes it 1-0. Perry will dump it on Bobrovsky, who covers it, and will get a whistle with 12:23 to go in the first. We'll be back. Sam Reinhart with a highlight reel goal to open the scoring here in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. We'll be back. We welcome you back, everybody. 12:23 to go in the first. A bad pass by Ekholm to Bouchard. Bouchard turns it over, and then Reinhart says hello and goodbye as he dances through the defense of the Oilers. And on the first shot on goal for the Florida Panthers, Skinner couldn't get much of a save there. I mean, he could have saved that. Skinner was way out, and the shot was from way out as well. Trying to cut off the angle. Instead, it leaves that far side open, and that's where Reinhart put it home. His first shot on goal in this game was a goal. 6-5, the shots favoring The Edmonton Oilers are 10-0 all time in potential series clinching games when scoring first. The Florida Panthers, Reinhart gets it along the boards, pressured by Ekholm along the wall. Fought for, Perry and Forsling tie up as well, and Reinhart will look to move it up. Moved up here by Verhaeghe. Lost the handle, will dump it back in on the backhand. More than 8 minutes have passed here in the first. Almost a turnover there by Stuart Skinner. Same defensive pairing out there. Draisaitl turned it over behind the net. Verhaeghe trying to center it. Goes up high again. Here's Seth Jones looking. He shoots wide of the net. Bouchard lost it along the boards for Lundell. Not held in by Mikkola, though. Turnover there by Mikkola to Brown. Marchand trying to get to the loose puck, and he did. Knocked down Luostarinen. Getting held a little bit there. Fans wanted the penalty. They won't get it. Podkolzin will move it up now for the Edmonton Oilers. Looking to move it in, and they dump it back in to the corner now behind the net for Bobrovsky, who turned it over to Janmark along the ball. And Brown lost it on the centering pass. Held in the zone, though, from the blue line. Shot back into the corner. Schmid pressured along the boards. Turned over to Janmark, who blocked it. It was Tkachuk who blocked it, the pass. And then it's Nurse who dumps it back in for Edmonton. Just dump and chase for Edmonton right now. And instead it's going to be an icing here on the Panthers. 10:48 to go in the first. Here in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. 1-0. Panthers leading it. Sam Reinhart with the goal, unassisted. If we were to have a Game 7 in this series, the Edmonton Oilers will have to come back once again. And it will be on Friday night. Same time, same everything, except for the arena. Rogers Place in Edmonton. Off the face-off one here, Kapanen. Now back to the point. Shot from distance, wide of the net. Bobrovsky did not see that. Last 4 games in the first period, Florida has outscored Edmonton 8-0. 3 power play goals included in that as well. Luostarinen along the boards, pressured by Nugent-Hopkins. Turned over there, and Kane. Rooming back to the point for Klingberg. Dumped it around again, and Kane will get it behind the net. Pressured by Nugent-Hopkins now. To the point, Klingberg again. Pass across, shot by Wallman. Saved by Bobrovsky at the side of the net. It went off the pad. He didn't even know where it was. He thought it went behind. And now a scrum behind the net now. Tkachuk and Kapanen and Bennett and Kane. Kane got thrown down to the ice by Bennett. And Tkachuk and Kapanen tangle around. Nugent-Hopkins and Schmid slashing some sticks. Shoved there, and the action won't stop between the whistles. And it's going to be a penalty here, I believe. See what the calls are. But I believe they were trying to whack at the puck. They didn't even know where it was. It was Kane who was whacking at it. And laughing at Bennett, but then Bennett got the last laugh as he shoved him to the ice. Then Tkachuk and Kapanen tied up together. Luostarinen was joining in as well with Kapanen. So 4-on-4 is going to be the call here. And so we have 4-on-4 for 2 minutes here in the first period. It's going to be Bennett and Kane going to the box only. McDavid, Draisaitl, Bouchard, and Wallman out there against Forsling, Barkov, Reinhart, and Ekblad off the face-off one here. So slashing on Evander Kane. That's the penalty for him. I'm guessing it's a roughing for Bennett. Wallman banks it off the boards for Bouchard. McDavid will look to move it up now. Some speed, open room. Connor McDavid on the outside, pressured by Forsling. He's done very well in matching him up in this series. Draisaitl up high again. Wallman dropped it up for Bouchard. Across for Draisaitl. Waiting. Back for Bouchard. Save! Bobrovsky on the one-timer. Reinhart will look to move it up the other way and dump it back in. Turn over to Bouchard, and Draisaitl will look to move it up with McDavid. Draisaitl with the puck. Waits along the boards. Goes across into the middle. Shot! Save made again on Kulak this time. Forsling now. And it's Mikkola with the puck. Here is Marchand, who got tripped up there with the knee. Lundell. And then Marchand tried to get it. Brown along the boards. 47 seconds to go in the 4-on-4. Brown along the boards, lost it. Lundell almost got it away there, and Kulak will look to move it up. 35 seconds to go, 4-on-4 here, and Connor Brown on the outside. Waits and circles back there. Lundell picks up the puck, and is moved out to center ice for Klingberg. Here is John Klingberg moving in. Lost it in the middle. It's still loose, and Rodriguez picks it up. Shots are 8-5 right now at the moment. 4-on-4 about to expire in 10 seconds. Rodriguez has it in his own zone, dropped it off for Verhaeghe, but turned it over to Jeff Skinner here. And a terrible turnover there by the Panthers. Henrique tied up along the boards. Now we're back to 5-on-5 again. Verhaeghe looks to move it up for Bennett. That's going to be an icing here on the Florida Panthers with 8:08 to go in the first. McDavid with this opportunity here, and Forsling just denied him of even getting through. And then Draisaitl to Bouchard right off the pad of Bobrovsky. Huge save there. 8:08 to go in the first. Off the faceoff, one, Bouchard, now to Ekholm's shot. Saved by Bobrovsky and goes into the corner. Perry along the boards. Rodriguez trying to get it. Shots are 9-5. Loose along the boards, and Draisaitl will go back to the point for Bouchard. Makes a move at the blue line and will drop it off. Instead, he will get it back. Bouchard try to center it to Perry. Knocked away by Kulikov. McDavid lost it and moved up here by Rodriguez into the middle. Bouchard intercepts, but then Verhaeghe gets it back. Carter Verhaeghe shoots off the side of the net. Caromed off the backboards, and Bennett couldn't pick it up. Bouchard goes across, intercepted again for a moment. Draisaitl trying to dump it in. Here's McDavid, cutting in. McDavid poke checked away by Bobrovsky. An incredible play there by Sergei Bobrovsky on Connor McDavid. Into the middle now, Barkov onside. Shot, save made by Skinner. Barkov behind the net now. Tkachuk will rim it all the way around, or try to. Ekblad slowed down again, Henrique. And it's fought for. Tkachuk goes back to the point. Here's Reinhardt. He shoots, and it was blocked and out of play with 6:57 to go. In the first period, we'll be back. 1-0 Florida. Welcome you back. 6:57 to go in the first period. 1-0 Florida off the face-off one here by Nosek. But Brown will pick it up and will clear it out to center ice and all the way down the length of the ice for no icing. As Kulak beat him to the race.
Nosek can't clear it out. Along the boards is fought for. Centering pass there couldn't go. It deflected around and out to center ice it goes. 8-6 the shots favoring the Edmonton Oilers. They're now 8-5. They removed the shot for Florida. Right when I was saying that. Kulak now with the puck. Deflected back into the Florida zone. Back into the corner. Marchand along the boards. Chipped it. Lost it to Podkolzin. Clears it out to center anyways. Marchand turned over to Podkolzin, who dumps it back in. Bobrovsky. Now Schmid with the puck. 6:05 to go in the first. Banked off the boards here. Turned over at center to Wallman. And is dumped back in by Edmonton, or tried to. Luostarinen with the puck. Lost it. He was on his knees on a turnover here. Nugent Hopkins across. Kapanen's shot was blocked. To the point again. Wallman had some trouble. Moves it for Kapanen. Nugent Hopkins shot. Save made by Bobrovsky. He didn't even know if he had it. Lundell. And Marchand clears it at the center ice. Wallman. 5.5 to go in the first. We'll slow it down as his team will go for a line change. Wallman with the puck still. Passes it. And Perry will dump it back in. The top line out there for the Oilers. Trying to get something going to even the game at 1. Perry couldn't shoot it. Draisaitl up high. Bouchard across for Ekholm, who will dump it all the way around for McDavid behind the net. Pressured along the boards by Verhaeghe. Jones looked to move it up. Instead, it's turned over to Ekholm, who holds it in. Draisaitl now to McDavid along the boards. Lost it to Verhaeghe. Barkov trying to clear. Moves it up for Verhaeghe now. And will dump it back in from center ice. Less than 5 minutes left to go in the first period. Skinner out to play it. We're moving all the way around. And held in by Bennett along the boards. Verhaeghe has it. Moves it for Bennett. Sam Bennett shoots. Save! Rebound. Kachuk, and was blocked. Verhaeghe's shot was blocked as well. Kachuk off a turnover. Center Bennett. Oh, he couldn't get the pass for Verhaeghe. He was tied up, or else it would have been a 2-0 lead. McDavid drops it off for Perry's shot. Save. Bobrovsky. Right off the tip of the glove. Turnover. Skinner to Kulak. Across for Nurse. Shot by Skinner went wide of the net on the one-timer. Kachuk deflected into the bench and out of play with 4:07 to go. Wow. What a sequence. Sam Bennett. Glorious opportunity. Denied by Skinner. 1-0 Florida with 4:07 to go. Welcome you back. 4:07 to go in the first period. 1-0 Florida here in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final off the faceoff
Won by Florida in their own zone, but turned over here to Skinner. Behind the net is Frederick, and Kachuk will pick it up in the slot. Sam Bennett was denied of a good opportunity. He has 15 goals in this postseason. Along the boards, and a huge hit along the boards there on Fredericks. 10-6, the shots favoring the Edmonton Oilers. A 3-game point streak for Kachuk as well. 2 goals and 3 assists. See if we can continue that here. Banked off the glass, and Rodriguez lost a stick in the process, but got it out to center ice. Deflected back in by Edmonton into the Florida zone. Forsling will pick it up now. 3:25 to go in the first period. Our first intermission report will be coming up after the first period is done. Lusterinen onside. Will dump it all the way around from Marchand's shot. That was blocked along the boards. Centering pass, and it was deflected. Out to center ice. Knocked down there. No one wants to touch it, but now it's touched by Marchand as it was a hand pass with 3:06 to go. This opportunity here was in the slot. Marchand just threw it towards the net, and it almost caromed in off of Nugent Hopkins. Ooh, if Wallman was not there, that could have been in the net for a 2-0 lead. As Skinner was going the other way, and Nugent Hopkins would have put it into his own net. Wow. Face-off won here by Florida outside their own zone. Kulikov will move it up for Greer, deflected it. Greer will get it down. Greer on the backhand save, rebound denied. Nosa couldn't get the rebound. Schmidt across shot, Kulikov wide. And now a 2-on-1 developing here, and this lost there and dumped back in by Schmidt. Florida with some quality chances here in the last minute or so. Off a body, a turnover. Nosa couldn't get it. 6-4, the scoring chances in favor of the Florida Panthers. 2.5 minutes to go here in the first period. Potkolzin into the loose puck first along the boards. Rimmed it all the way around for Brown, who rimmed it around again, but no one was there. Schmidt, and it's lost and deflected out to center ice. Down length of the ice it goes, and icing on Florida with 2:21 to go here in the first period. Greer with the opportunity, and Gadjevich on the rebound was denied. And if Nosa could have gotten the third rebound, that could have been it right there. But scooped away there by, I believe, Wallman or Kulak. And wow, a very golden opportunity there, and a good save by Skinner twice. Nugent Hopkins wins the face-off. Kapanen will drop it off, and Kulak will rim it all the way around behind the net for Nurse. Along the board, Kane. Kapanen along the boards. Fought for it. Kulikov and Schmidt lost it around. Reinhardt will pick up the puck behind the net. Schmidt still in the Florida zone. Deflected up into the air. Knocked down by Barkov that comes out to center ice. Nurse with the puck now. Kane pinned up Barkov along the boards. Right in front of the penalty boxes. Verhaeghe turned it over. Here is Reinhardt onside. Shot was blocked. Dumped it all the way around. Nurse to the puck first. Almost turned it over. Kane trying to get out of the zone. Seth Jones on the forecheck. Up high again. Shot from distance. To the corner it goes for Verhaeghe. Trying to center it for Barkov, and Mikkola will hold it in the zone. Shot. Save made by Skinner. Marchand behind the net now. Pressured by Kulak. Verhaeghe now will go back to the point. Seth Jones with the puck. Sends it low. Barkov looking to Marchand. Couldn't get the shot away. Or was it a 2-0 lead? Marchand picks it up at center ice. Drops it off here. Here's Lundell. Cutting in. Lundell shot. Wide of the net. Marchand now. Dropped it off for Draisaitl, who turned it over. Draisaitl now with the puck. Trying to feed it for McDavid. Here's Bouchard now. Deflected to the blue line so they couldn't enter it. Lusterinen onside. Looking. Lusterinen drops it off. Kachuk shot, scores! Matthew Kachuk! It's 2-0 Florida! Less than a minute to go in the first period. It is now a 2-0 Panthers lead. Matthew Kachuk with the goal. A beautiful shot, a beautiful setup by Lusterinen, who was just patient with the puck. McDavid went after him and left Tkachuk wide open. And it's a 2-0 lead for the Panthers here in Game 6. They're back on side again. Tkachuk trying to move it for Reinhart. There's a penalty upcoming, though. And it's going to be against Florida, I believe. See what the call is here. Or it might be on the Oilers. We will see. Not sure who got the penalty there. There's a whistle there. I think it was offside. 3 goals, 3 assists for Matthew Tkachuk in the last 4 games. An important goal right there, and it's a 2-0. Florida lead here in Game 6. Dunked back in by Ekblad, rimmed it all the way around. So Reinhart and Tkachuk with the goals. Flipped out to center ice. Forsling deflected at center. And McDavid will drop it off. The crowd going crazy with the goal announcement. Bouchard across, dumped back in by Draisaitl. 15 seconds to go here in the first. Along the boards, Verhaeghe clears it out to center ice. Wallman will pick it up now with less than 7 to go. Draisaitl. The Edmonton Oilers are going to be down 2-0. The Florida Panthers up 2-0 in Game 6. Trying to go back-to-back. We'll have our intermission report coming up next with the goal scores. Crowd loving it in Sunrise. The Panthers up by 2. We will be back for the second period when it starts, but we will have our intermission report in just a moment. Give us just a moment, and we'll give you coverage of our intermission report. We'll be back with more on the NHL and MHS's coverage of the Stanley Cup Final. We welcome you back to Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. Our intermission report here as the Florida Panthers are up big on the Oilers. They're up 2-0 over Edmonton, trying to win the Stanley Cup again to go back-to-back here at home in Sunrise for Game 6. As we go over what just happened in that first period. If you just joined us, I'm Max. Delighted to have you with us here. Share with all your friends this live stream if you can. If they cannot watch the game, please link them this live stream. Trying to get to a lot of viewers here on a potentially Stanley Cup clinching game. As the Oilers are up. The Oilers are not up at all. The Oilers are down 2-0. The Panthers are up 2-0 on 9 shots on goal. Edmonton has 10, so they still lead the shots. Did not matter, though. 4:36 in. Sam Reinhart. A highlight reel goal. A solo effort. Ekholm and Bouchard helping him out a little bit, too, with some bad passes. Reinhart dances through the defense. Skinner couldn't get on the glove side. 1-0 Florida. This is where the mistake was here. Oh, excuse me. This is not what I was meant to do. This pass was terrible. Hold on. Okay, here you see Ekholm with the puck. Ekholm has the puck. He has a bunch of things he could do. He could bank it off the boards here. Could try to move it up for McDavid. But the logical reason is for Bouchard. Somehow he angles this thing because Verhaeghe's coming on him with a forecheck. Ekholm passes it to Bouchard, but he passes it in a weird way to Bouchard where Reinhart is already ready and looking at Bouchard to force the puck off of him. And it forces a turnover, and then Sam Reinhart going in. Does all the work after that. 1-0 Florida. 4:36 in on a snapshot. And then with 47 seconds to go in the first period, Matthew Tkachuk wide open. His 8th of the playoffs. Lusterinen and Lundell with the assist. Lusterinen with a great play here. Let's go over why here. So a great play here at the blue line. Lundell forces Bouchard to not enter in, or else that would have been a rush here or an entrance here for McDavid and Perry, the top line for the Oilers. So a nice job there by Lundell. And it comes back out to center ice. Lusterinen making his move on Wallman. And Wallman is focusing on Lusterinen right now. Bouchard is trying to guard the middle. McDavid doesn't know if Tkachuk got off the bench or not. Tkachuk is barely off the bench here, I believe. Perry's still behind because he's 40 years old. He cannot skate that fast, guys. Come on. He is just waiting, Lusterinen. McDavid's going to try to pressure him. He doesn't see Tkachuk from behind. He doesn't look behind here. He instead goes for the aggressive approach and has 2 guys pressuring him. And so that opens up a lot of room here for Tkachuk. Draisaitl is trying to guard Forsling. Bouchard and Lundell are tied up. And Ekblad and Perry are paired up. McDavid is supposed to pair it up with Tkachuk as his man to try to cover. Instead, he goes for Lusterinen. And right when he does, passes at the right moment to Tkachuk and leaves the middle wide open. And Perry's too slow to get back, and Draisaitl is way too far away. Tkachuk just shoots it in. 2 screens in front. 2-0 Florida. Here in Game 6, trying to go back-to-back. 2-0. Florida leading it. Here in Game number 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. Let's go over the stats here. There's only been 2 penalties. Those are coinciding minors, though. Slashing and roughing on Kane and Bennett, respectively. 53% of the faceoffs have been won by the Florida Panthers. 47 for the Oilers. Block shots 5-5. 6-2 the giveaways. 4-1 the takeaways. Hits are even at 10. Entering this game for the Florida Panthers, they had 421 hits at home. They are now at 431 hits. So they have been a very physical team here at their home building. They could reach 500 if they could, but I mean they would need like a 70-something hits left in the game to try to get to 500 at home. We will see if that happens at all, which probably won't be. We'll be back with more and give you what the Oilers have done wrong here in this series so far, and let's see what they can do to try to fix it. We'll be back with our intermission report continues here on the NHL and MHS. Don't go away. welcome you back to the period number 2 of the Stanley Cup Final, as the Panthers are up 2-0 over the Edmonton Oilers, as they look to try to add on to their lead. The Oilers trying to get back in the game, as they do not want to go down a lot here in this one, for sure. Their season on the line here tonight. Career in Stanley Cup Final. Matthew Tkachuk, 6 goals, 7 assists, 13 points in 17 games he's played in the Stanley Cup Final. He added on here tonight with his goal late in the first period, to make it 2-0. Crowd is on their feet here. Henrique and Bennett wins the faceoff, and we're underway in the second period. 2-0 Florida. Here in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final, they lead the series 3-2, Florida. Along the boards, Nurse, then lost it. Kulak looks to move it up. Pressure from behind, and Bennett off the turnover. Tried to center it, no one was there. Henrique, almost another turnover. Tkachuk goes down in the Edmonton zone, 30 seconds into the second period. Henrique, huge hit there along the boards, comes back up the center ice. Frederick looked to move it up, could not. Mikkola could not. Florida +9, 13-4 goal differential, even in rest of the periods. Nurse moves it up into the middle for Kapanen, who dumps it back in, and a save made by Bobrovsky off the blocker. Goes to the far wall. Kapanen pressured along the boards. Reinhart picks it up, pressured by Nugent Hopkins. And so for the Oilers, they'd have to make another comeback to force us to Game 7 on Friday. Reinhart along the boards. It's fought for. Comes free. Barkov lost it. And looked to move it up the other way. Kapanen fell down at center ice. Barkov off the shaft of Kapanen's stick. Barkov along the boards. He gets taken down. No penalty there on either side. Here's Wallman, who shoots it back in from center ice. Schmid will get the puck now. Along the boards. Perry. Kulikov now at the puck. Reinhart will pass it into the middle. Verhaeghe dumps it back in. Skinner lost it to Verhaeghe behind the net almost, but pressured off the puck there by Bouchard, and Ekholm to Bouchard now into the middle. Here is Perry. Rimmed it all the way around. Ekholm trying to get to the loose puck. Pressured by Ekblad. Bouchard along the boards. Perry up high. Ekholm will rim it all the way around for Draisaitl along the boards. In the corner. Pressured by Luostarinen. Some open room. McDavid trying to pass it. Ekholm couldn't get it. Cleared down the length of the ice for an icing. But a huge opportunity there. Not converted on there by McDavid. He took a little bit more of a second there than he needed to. And it caused the play to not go his way. Forsling made a great play, actually. It was a stick. That's why he waited a second. He actually didn't wait. It was actually Forsling disrupting him, or else he would have had Perry on the back door wide open, or Marchand would have blocked it. Face-off in the Florida zone off the face-off one here by Draisaitl. Perry, shot, save on the side of the net. And Bobrovsky splitting. And Luostarinen lost to the Draisaitl along the boards. Perry knocked down there by Marchand, pressured McDavid. But then Ekblad picks up the puck, clears it out to center ice. Ekholm lost it, Luostarinen. Dumps back in, McDavid with Perry. McDavid across. Oh, Perry couldn't put it home. Wow, what a play there, and Luostarinen the other way. Shot. Out of play on the shot. It was deflected. How in the world did Corey Perry did not bury that? How in the world did that not go in? What? Oh, Perry didn't even get much of a shot away in the first place. The pass was kind of far. Wow. I thought Bobrovsky might have saved it. Perry sighs in, and then McDavid says a word we can't say on on YouTube. Henrique and Nosek tie up on the face-off. Nosek behind the net now for Greer. Greer pressuring Kulak off the puck. Greer makes some moves behind the net with the puck.
AJ Greer will go back to the point. Mikkola will slap it all the way around. Gadjevich trying to get it. Jones now with the puck. Gadjevich gets it once again. On the backhand, will go back to the point. Mikkola will rim it all the way around. Greer will get it. Pressured. And Nurse will pick up the puck now. 12-9, the shots favoring the Edmonton Oilers. And nothing. Here's Henrique onside. Shot save made by Bobrovsky. 3:32 into the second period. Edmonton's had some quality chances, but have not been able to bury on them. 6 players with 20-plus points, ties NHL record. 1985 Oilers and 1983 Islanders for the Florida Panthers this postseason. Luostarinen gets one more, and they'll break that record. Lundell is 2 points away as well. Luostarinen just 1 point away. 13-9, the shots favoring the Oilers, but the Panthers with a 2-0 lead here in Game 6. Off the face-off, one here, Kapanen goes back across, Wallman. Shot from distance was blocked by Tkachuk, trying to clear it out of the zone, could not. Now it's knocked down by Rodriguez into the middle. Rodriguez, pressure from behind. Evan Rodriguez, shot save, Bennett on the rebound, couldn't get it. Came free there and was just swatted away at the last second, or else Bennett would have had a golden opportunity. Here is Bennett onside again. Makes a move. Sam Bennett circling behind the net. Wraparound attempt stopped. Schmidt on the rebound shot. And it goes over the net. Kapanen, Verhaeghe, now Bennett again with the puck. Goes back to the point. Sends it all the way around Verhaeghe. Pressured off the puck. He fell down in the process. We have not had any power plays in the game. We have had a 4-on-4. Kapanen will shoot it back in from center. Block it away there by Bobrovsky. Jones turned it over to Kane. But then Jones gets it once again. Seth Jones will rim it all the way around. Reinhart pressured by Ekholm along the wall. Flipped out to center ice. And picked up by Bouchard, who deflected it. Reinhart pressured by two. Near the blue line. And Bouchard will get it back at center ice again. 14-11, the shots favoring the Oilers. Draisaitl on the far wing. Drops it off for Ekholm at the point. Bouchard slaps one across, and Draisaitl wasn't even there. Skinner, pressure from behind by Barkov. Jeff Skinner lost it to Mikkola. Jeff Skinner wanted a penalty. Rodriguez goes down on the hit by Draisaitl. None were called. Cleared out the center ice. Bouchard with the puck between the circles in his own zone. 2-0 Florida. Here in Game 6, Ekholm will shoot it back in. And not knocked down by Rodriguez. Draisaitl trying to get it. It's actually Mikkola. Draisaitl along the boards. McDavid rimmed it back around. Kulak along the boards. Shoots one. Save! Bobrovsky through traffic, and then he gets knocked down in the process. Reinhart dumps it in. On goal, Skinner makes a save. Stumbling a little bit there to play the puck. Kulak moves it up for Podkolzin. Dumps it back in to the corner. Marchand gets it. Knocked off the puck by Podkolzin. Connor Brown will go back to the point. Held in by Nurse. And there's a whistle here. Was that offside? Maybe it was a penalty, I believe. Not sure what it was, but we get a whistle. 13:59 to go. Good chance there. Denied by Bobrovsky.
welcome you back. 13:59 left to go here in the second period. And the Florida Panthers are up 2-0 over the Edmonton Oilers here in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. They lead the series 3-2. The Florida Panthers trying to win the Cup for the second time here on home ice. Offside of the line there on the Oilers. On the entry, Henrique. Something needs to go in the favor of the Oilers or else this could be it for their season, and it could be it for the hockey season overall. And the Florida Panthers, like a year ago, winning their first Stanley Cup, would win their second, and it would be back-to-back. Dumped back in by Edmonton. Kulikov with the puck in the corner, pressured by Henrique. Tkachuk now. Almost turned it over. He did. Skinner behind the net. Jeff Skinner pressured by Schmid. Jeff Skinner pressured along the ball. Still has the puck, though, and then turned it over to Rodriguez. Trying to clear it out of the zone. Still could not. And deflected into the middle. Tkachuk picks up the puck on the backhand. Trying to move it in, and Bennett will knock it down at the blue line. Rimmed around for Rodriguez. Gets hit from behind. Here is Kulak the other way. Dumps it back in. Mikula to the loose puck. Has it in front of his net and moves it up for Reinhart. He'll go across for Verhaeghe. Carter Verhaeghe across, trying to go back for Reinhart. Could not connect. Barkov behind the net now. Pressured from behind by Kulak. Barkov tried to center it. Knocked away there. Verhaeghe to Barkov. Drops it off into the point. Forsling shot. Save made by Skinner. And with 12:47 to go, we'll welcome you in if you're just joining us. 20 or 22 of you just joining us. Thank you for watching. Share it with your friends. This could potentially be the cup clinching game. 12:47 to go in the second period. 2-0 Florida. We're approaching the halfway point of the game. 1-4. Stanley Cup Final in Florida. 2022 and 2025 for Stuart Skinner. He's only won once. That was in Game 5 last year's final. To force the Game 6. That's the only time Stuart Skinner has won in this building. Rimmed all the way around. Lundell pressured by Bouchard. Marchand will rim it all the way around once again to the point for Forsling. Along the boards now, pressured by Kapanen. Marchand in the corner now. Pressured. Kane. And Lusterinen couldn't get it. Flipped out to center ice. Kapanen lost it. Here's Lusterinen, moves it up for Marchand. Onside. Lundell looking towards the front of the net. Save. Lusterinen deflected it. Ekblad lets it go. Around for Bouchard, who lost it. Marchand trying to get it. Lusterinen trying to go back to the point, but Forsling was not there in time. Kane pressuring Forsling from behind. 8 minutes have passed here in the second period here in Game 6 of the final. Here's McDavid on side. Drops it off. Draisaitl goes across. Knocked down away there, and here is Rodriguez looking to move it up for Bennett. Dumped back in. Rimmed all the way around Rodriguez to the loose puck. Tkachuk pressured along the boards. Got knocked down there by Perry and Draisaitl and Ekholm. Battling for the puck, and it's going to be whistled down as Tkachuk was just on the ice. Near the boards, just sitting there. This is the opportunity here by Lundell, who just threw it towards the net, and Lusterinen got a deflection on it in front of Skinner. 11:35 to go in the second. Shots are 15-14 in favor of Edmonton still. They have led the shots all the way. But the Florida Panthers have led for the majority of this game. Kulak with the puck now. Pressured by Verhaeghe, but still has the puck and moves it up. McDavid tries to steal it away from Reinhart. Got it out of the center ice, and Verhaeghe will chip it back in. Kulak dumps it out to center ice. Florida looking to re-enter. They will. That'll be an offside if they touch it, so they have to touch up for Florida. Bouchard now with the puck. Marchand touches up, and no offside there. Bouchard with the puck still. On the backhand, passes it across for Kane. Last Stanley Cup Final rematch to go to 7 games. A 1954-55 Detroit Red Wings and, I believe, Maple Leafs shot, save made, or Montreal. Jones. Bobrovsky's made 16 saves here in the game. Klingberg with the puck now. Passes it across for Nugent Hopkins. Here's Frederick again. Onside, Nugent Hopkins. Towards the front, save Bobrovsky. With 10:34 to go, is a quick play there. Trying to go on the short side of Bobrovsky there. Could not. Everyone gets together now in front of Bobrovsky, who moves away from the crease. He's been big in this game 6, Sergei Bobrovsky. Kulak, Bouchard, he's denied everybody. Nugent Hopkins as well. Some glorious saves here to keep the puck out of the net, to keep it a 2-0 lead. Skinner, the latest opportunity on Bobrovsky. 10:34 to go in the second. 17 saves for Bobrovsky. 12 for Skinner. 5-1 the second period chance has been to the Oilers. Shot from the faceoff was wide. Kane trying to send it in deep to the corner. Now behind the net. Pressured along the wall. Tkachuk will look to move it up. 3-on-2 potentially here. Here is Bennett onside. Sam Bennett waiting, shooting. Knocked down Schmid. Save Skinner. And everyone taking us up once again. 10:13 to go in the second period. Sam Bennett creating some opportunities for the Panthers. It went off the stick of Wallman, deflected up in the air, and Schmid knocked it down. And Skinner had to make a difficult save there. 10:13 to go. The faceoff will be inside the Oilers zone. And so the Panthers trying to get something off this faceoff to try to make it a 3-0 lead. Faceoff one here. Gadjevich lost it off the draw. And Janmark will dump it back in. No icing. Forsling off the glass. Out to center ice it goes. We have not had any power plays in the game. And we're more than halfway through it now as we approach the halfway point. Gadjevich off the turnover. No one's at the point, but now Forsling holds it in. It deflected along the wall. Kulak angling off one of the Panthers. And Podkolzin will clear it down the length of the ice. It will be no icing. Slowed down. Kulikov. Pressure from behind. Gadjevich will pick it up now. Banks it off the glass, and out to center ice it goes. Picked up by Nurse in his own zone. Looks to move it into the middle. Could not. And Schmid will pick up the puck now. Along the boards. It's fought for. Along the far side. Ekholm will send it across the point. Bouchard shot wide of the net. Verhaeghe trying to clear it out of the zone. Could not. Podkolzin will rim it all the way around once again into the point. Draisaitl will drop it off for Bouchard. Shot towards the net was stopped by Bobrovsky with 9:04 to go. And Podkolzin and Kulikov get together in the corner. Referees have to separate them. 18-15, the shots favoring the Florida Panthers. Or, pardon me, the Edmonton Oilers. But the Panthers with a 2-0 lead here in Game 6. Trying to win the second ever franchise's Stanley Cup. We're back, everybody, with 9:04 to go in the second period. A 2-0 lead for the Florida Panthers, trying to close it out here in Game 6 and win the Stanley Cup here at home. McDavid only has one shot on goal in the game. Not much for him. For his standards, he has not been much of a factor in this series. He has only had one goal. Compared to last year's final, he was doing pretty good. Face-off one here along the boards. It's fought for in the Florida zone. McDavid couldn't get it in. Barkov ridden off by Draisaitl. Bouchard held it in the zone. Draisaitl will get it. Picked up there by Verhaeghe. Moves it up for Reiner, who dumps it back in. Skinner out to play it. Ekholm off the boards. Cleared down the length of the ice. Here's McDavid racing for the puck, and Bobrovsky knocks it away. Along the boards is fought for and then dumped back in by Edmonton. 8.5 to go. Pressured by Draisaitl. Forsling picks up the puck. McDavid almost forced a turnover there. Cleared out to center ice. Bouchard. Less than 8.5 to go in the second period. Deflected back in, so no icing. Forsling will try to get it. Along the boards, Draisaitl and McDavid tying up together there. Draisaitl moves it up for Ekholm at the point. Sends it across for Bouchard, who trades positions. Shot! Wide of the net. Reinhart will pick up the puck now. 8 minutes left to go here in the second period. A 3-on-2. Reinhart onside. Waiting. Goes across for Forsling. Waiting, shooting. It was blocked. Barkov looking again for an option on the backhand in the corner. Barkov centered. Verhaeghe couldn't knock it down. And it's covered by Skinner with the glove with 7:48 to go. Florida trying to get that third goal here in this game. Perry and then Barkov actually got hit by Perry from the face. A little bit of a punch there. Some goalie interference you could argue as well. Nothing called because this is Game 6. For sure, this is going to be a tight one, and they're going to call nothing basically unless it's very, very obvious. For sure. Face-off one here. Here's Mikkola. Moves it for Marchand along the board. Shot and a save made by Skinner. 7:43 left to go in the second period. 19-16, the shots favoring the Edmonton Oilers. But the Florida Panthers up by 2. Reinhart with the first goal, solo effort, and then Tkachuk, the latest one. That was in the late stages of the first period. We have not had any scoring since then. Along the boards, Luostarinen gets it to the point. Mikkola could not hold it in a race for the puck here. Brown tried to steal it away and could not get it on his stick. Marchand dumps it back in. Skinner out to play it. Klingberg pressured from the Lundell. Held in. Mikkola shot. Blocked and goes into the corner. Wallman lost it. Lundell tried to center for Marchand. Here's Rodriguez now with the puck. Shot towards the net. It was stopped by Skinner. Where's the puck? It's loose. And it's stopped again. No one knew where the puck was. The referees did not whistle it down, so it was still an active puck. Wallman frustrated. Skinner arguing. Took a little bit there for the whistle to go. Oh, it's in the crotch of Wallman. No one knew where that puck went. So everyone thought that puck was still in the crease. Everyone trying to get the puck from his crotch with the stick. Tkachuk with the puck now. Center Bennett, and it's blocked. Kulikov rimmed it all the way around. Tkachuk trying to get it. Kulak along the boards. Will move it up into the middle. Nugent Hopkins. Kane couldn't get the pass. A turnover here is Bennett. Sam Bennett with some open room. Trying to pass it across for Tkachuk. He gets it now, but the pass wasn't clean. Could have had a real opportunity there. Schmidt's shot was blocked on the way through. Rodriguez, now Bennett on the forecheck, will get the puck and rimmed it all the way around. Schmidt, 6.5 left to go. Shot by Tkachuk, wide of the net. Nurse will pick up the puck on the backhand. Try to clear it out of the zone, could not. Kulikov, now Bennett behind the net, trying to get it. Kulak instead, interception. Nurse, Kane, trying to get it out of the zone. He will on the second effort. Reinhart with the puck, pressured along the boards.
Turnover here potentially, but Ekblad will pick it up. Kane throws a hit instead. Reinhardt trying to clear it. Ekholm's body was in the way. Kulikov backhands it out to center ice. 6 minutes left to go here in the second period. Bouchard with the puck behind his own net. Team going for a line change, I believe, but now he's going to move up for McDavid. Connor McDavid, pressured by Verhaeghe. Gets pressured off the puck as well. Reinhardt will dump it back in. Ekholm along the boards. McDavid trying to fish it free. And moved up here by Podkolzin. Here's deflected back in again and does not go out of play just yet. In this series, only a goal for McDavid, 6 assists, 7 points. That's going to be an icing here with 5:27 to go on the Florida Panthers. A 2-0 lead here in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. If we were to go to Game 7, if the Edmonton Oilers would come back, if they can come back, it'll be a Game 7 on Friday night at the same time. And that'll be the definitive final game, unless it ends here tonight. 5:27 to go. Second period. Barkov, I believe Draisaitl on the face-off dot. Could be Brown. Not sure. It's Draisaitl. A little bit of an issue here. I don't know what they're doing in the timeskeeper box. A little bit of a problem. Now it's fixed, and now they'll be able to drop the puck. Unless there's something happening here. John A. Barron, Chris Rooney, Devin Berg, and Ryan Gibbons, the referees and linesmen, they actually had to get someone back on the ice. Was it Reinhardt? Because they iced the puck, so they had to make sure they got all the skaters before they changed. Face-off one here. Off the draw and moved up by Florida out of the center ice. Reinhardt will pick up the puck now. Will drop it off. Luostarinen pressured along the boards. Leaves it. Marchand. Brad Marchand circling behind the net. Pressured. Marchand tangled up still. Draisaitl and Marchand still tangled up and held in the zone for a moment, but Draisaitl knocks it down. Pressure from behind, and Luostarinen will pick up the puck. Moves it up for Lundell, out of the reach of his stick. Ekholm then lost it. Bouchard will move it up, and steady passes it out of the reach of Ekholm, but it carries him back towards Ekholm and the blue line. Bouchard and Ekholm will reset. Evan Bouchard with possession of the puck. He'll pass it across for Ekholm, and he'll dump it back in. 4.5 minutes left to go here in the second period. A 2-0 lead for the Panthers. Turnover here. Here's Wallman. He shoots. Wide of the net, blocked. Off the side of the net, is still loose. And somehow, Edmonton couldn't get a carom their way. 4:15 to go. That was the puck was just bouncing around crazy, like a bouncy house, and it's cleared down the length of the ice. Out to center ice it goes. Klingberg. Crowd rising of the Wallman. Dumps it back in over. Bobrovsky covers it with the glove. Not taking any risks there. 4 minutes to go in the second period. We'll be back. 2-0 Florida. Wallman couldn't get his shot through. Tkachuk blocked it. We welcome you back. Game 7 would be on Friday, June 20th, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, if the Oilers were to win tonight. As we welcome you back, and the Florida Panthers won the faceoff and cleared it down the length of the ice, and Nurse will pick it up now. 9 multi-goal comebacks when facing elimination. The last instance that happened in the Stanley Cup Final was back in 1987 with the Philadelphia Flyers. Tkachuk will look to move it up into the middle. Now Jones on the backhand will dump it back in. That's what the Oilers would have to do to try to win this game. Shot towards the net was blocked. And Kane clears it down the length of the ice. No icing. This way went on Bobrovsky. Forsling now at the puck. Try to move it up for Reinhart. Sam Reinhart on the far side. Pressured along the wall. Reinhart pressured for Hagee. Around it goes. Kulikov for Hagee will get it along the boards. Lost it. Deflected up into the air, and Kulak couldn't get it. Skinner trying to get out of the zone. Could not for Hagee. Now it's Barkov along the boards. Reinhart behind the net. Barkov again. Oh my goodness, he shot it wide. Barkov behind the net now still. Now moves towards the corner. Now on the forehand. Here's Verhaeghe up high. Some tired skitters on the ice. Kulak and Nurse. Kulikov on the backhand. Tips it into the corner for Barkov. Pressured by Henrique. Verhaeghe with the puck now along the boards. Shot towards the net. Was stopped by Skinner. Rebound. Oh, he scores! 3-0 Panthers. Sam Reinhart again. Some tired Oilers. And Barkov of a solo effort to just continue to have that puck. And a weird shot towards the net. Skinner wasn't ready. Right out the skate of Reinhart. Off of Barkov's rebound shot. And it's a 3-0 Florida lead with less than 2.5 minutes to go in the second. And the question is, was that kicked in? I don't think it was. It was not. And a 3-0 lead for the Panthers here in Game 6. Wallman banks it off the boards. Oilers trying to respond here. Corey Perry on the outside behind the net. Leaves it into the back for McDavid. Leaves it out of the zone, and Bouchard picks up the puck and will shoot it back in. Ekblad, that's going to be an offside, I believe. 2:02 to go. And a 3-0 lead. Sam Reinhart once again with the goal. 2 goals in the game. A smart play by Barkov to move the puck across for Reinhart on the back door. Wide open is 3-0 Florida here in Game 6. And it's a 3-0 lead in Skinner. Sign and disappointment, and the fans loving it in Florida. 20-18 the shots favoring the Edmonton Oilers. They have had more offensive shots. None have gone into the back of the net as Bobrovsky's been big. Less than 2 to go. Wallman passes it across for Bouchard. Deflected up in the air. Rodriguez lost it. Here's Janmark trying to move it in. Bobrovsky will cover it. And scuffles behind the net. Tkachuk and Skinner arguing. 1:47 to go in the second. A 3-0 Florida lead, and Tkachuk continues to argue or bark at the other Edmonton Oilers. But it's a 3-0 lead for the Florida Panthers. And this is just, wow. They have just dominated this game. It seemed like, again, the Oilers were getting to a good start, couldn't convert on their opportunities. And then the first opportunity the Florida Panthers get, they score on it. Sam Reinhart with his 9th. Icing here on Florida. Barkov and Verhaeghe with the assists. 1:41 left to go in the middle frame. And then 20 minutes. Either the Panthers hold on and win their second Stanley Cup back-to-back. or the Oilers need a spark to tie it up. They could use a late goal here for sure, but the Panthers win the faceoff instead, and Jones moves it up for Bennett. Deflected. Tkachuk will look to get to the loose puck. Instead, it's icing. 1:33 to go. They got to really take advantage of these icings here, Edmonton, if they want to get something going. Sam Reinhart has been big in this game. He had been quiet throughout most of these playoffs, appearing in the grandest of stages. Here in the Stanley Cup Final, he has been big in this finals. 5 goals, I believe, in these finals. Only had 4 in the first 3 rounds. Kulak looks to move it up as the Oilers could not win another faceoff. Draisaitl's pressured at the line. And a turnover here, and Tkachuk will dump it back in. Skinner out to play it. Bouchard now with the puck. 1:10 left to go. Our intermission report coming up next. A 3-0 Florida lead. Draisaitl will dump it back in. Oilers could really use one here. Verhaeghe and now Forsling. Kane along the boards. Ekblad. Draisaitl pinned up along the wall behind the net. No penalties tonight. Or power plays. Kulak goes up high. Bouchard's shot wide of the net. Less than a minute to go here in the second period. McDavid trying to get to the puck. Barkov has it pinned along the boards. Reinhart will move it up. Maybe a rush here for the Panthers to hurry. Sam Reinhart will dump it back into the far boards. Verhaeghe gets to the loose puck first. Carter Verhaeghe looking to center it. Reinhart behind the net. Sam Reinhart looking. Goes back to the point. Forsling fakes a shot. Lets it go around for Jones along the boards. Seth Jones. Barkov let it go. And Bouchard trying to move it up and cleared out of the zone by Edmonton. It's going to be an icing anyways with 15.7 to go. And the Oilers, again, like last year, have not been able to find the offense or scoring touch like they did last year. They could not find that scoring touch in Game 7. They're experiencing it once again here in Game number 6 of this year's final. This could be our final period of our coverage of this year in the third period. 15.7 to go, or unless the Oilers miraculously even it up and we go some crazy overtime here in Game 6. But right now the Panthers have it in lockdown mode. Here's Jones waiting. Seth Jones will pass it across at the point. Mikkola rimmed it all the way around. Less than 10 seconds to go. Behind the net is fought for. Draisaitl. Kane off the glove. Luostarinen will shoot it around, and that'll end the second period. A 3-0 Panthers lead going into the third here in Game 6. Trying to win their second and back-to-back Stanley Cup. We'll be back with our intermission report coming up next. 3-0. Panthers leading it, trying to close it out. Oilers trying to come back miraculously. We'll be back.
welcome you to our intermission report and a 3-0 lead for the Florida Panthers. And they are up big here in this game for sure. And they have been just dominating since the beginning of this game. And that's been the case since the beginning. 3-0. A lot of stuff has happened on this day. If the Panthers were to win, it'd be one of these things on this day. June 17th, 1994 was one of the craziest days in sports history. The O.J. Simpson white Bronco chase. The Knicks and Rockets play Game 1 of the NBA Finals. The New York Rangers Stanley Cup victory parade. 1994 World Cup opener. And Arnold Palmer plays last ever U.S. Open round. And it would add on to this day in 2025, the Florida Panthers winning it 3-0 right now over Edmonton. What do you think Edmonton needs to do here?
They gotta stop getting attacked by Florida. If they make one good move, Florida's right there to break that up. But I'm just gonna say right now, this game is nowhere near over. We were here for Game 6 this is Game 6. We were here for
Game 4, I think.
Was it Game 4? Yeah, it was Game 4 in a 2-1 series where Edmonton down 3-0 early, strike back for 3 goals in the second and winning. If Edmonton wants to win this game, they're gonna have to play more aggressive, and they got to play like their season's on the line. So, honestly, I would say play is your best hockey you've ever played in your entire life if you're Edmonton.
This just feels like a retread of Game 7 from last year where Edmonton could just not score at all. They had some chances, and they just couldn't score on them. They couldn't score. They only scored 1 in that Game 7 when it was 2-1. And we're 20 minutes away from potentially a Stanley Cup celebration. Sam Reinhart, his ninth... Go ahead.
I just want to say one more thing as well. I mean, Edmonton's not out 1 goal for the Oilers, and just like that, they're back in it. So don't count them out yet. Florida needs to stay on the gas pedal. This game is not over yet.
For sure, but... I mean, this is even tougher from the Game 4 comeback that they had. They got the scoring going in period 2 of that game, but now they have to find a way to score 3 goals in 20 minutes. I mean, that's still a lot of time for Edmonton. They are a very good offensive team, but it just seems like Florida's just locking it down so well so far.
If I'm the coach of the Oilers, I'm going into that locker room and I'm telling those guys that this game ain't over. You're up there with the shots on goal. You're up there at the face-off. We're tied in penalty minutes. We've hit them more. We've blocked more shots. We've gotten more giveaways. But they do have some takeaways and giveaways. But we are up there and we're fighting with them. So scoreboard might say 3-0, but they've tried. And I think this team is going to come out. But if I was a coach, I would say to these guys, keep your heads up. This game ain't over. Give a great motivational speech and get out there for that third period, because you're not down yet if you're Edmonton. You had some fluky goals. I will say the Reinhart goal in the second period was pretty weird. It was a deflected shot. That one was a weird in the air. Very weird goal.
It's like the initial shot. Skinner's still standing. And then everyone thinks is like, where's the puck, I think. And then Barkov gets the rebound. Smart play by him to move it to Reinhart off his skate to move in the back door. But that just is a weird one there. Because an innocent shot turned into a goal, basically. And
yeah, definitely. And not there on the rebound.
That's a weird one by Skinner. I think he could have controlled that a little bit better. But, man, Edmonton had some chances. Remember that Corey Perry chance early on in the second period? He had a backdoor feed, and he never even got the shot away, or barely got it on his stick. And he didn't get much of a deflection on it, or much of it, to put it into the back door. And there's just been some very good chances that Bobrovsky's had to save here. And that's why Florida has been very good. They have had a very good goaltender in net. On the other hand of things, Skinner and Pickard have been switch swapping right now, and it's just been like Oilers don't know what their starting goalie is.
And I think that's come to bite right now for Edmonton once again in these finals, their goalie.
Well, you need to find out who your goalie is in this third period, because this is your season right here.
Either Stuart Skinner goes back to how it was in the conference finals against Dallas, where he absolutely robbed Dallas of some chances, or he goes back to that LA Kings Skinner, where he just lets in every single shot on goal in this third period. If it's 4-0, I think it's done. If Florida gets a fourth goal, this game is done. But if Edmonton starts to get going a little bit here in the third, there's a game again. There's obviously a game again. There's still 20 minutes left. But if Edmonton were to make that comeback, what would that feel for Florida? Because they would have now, if they do come back in this one, Florida would have blown another multi-goal lead in this series. What do you think Florida would feel by blowing another huge lead?
They'd feel really discouraged, because you had this, if they do somehow find a way to blow this game, they had 3 goals, they had all the momentum, and then you just lose it, and it's like, where did it go? And something I say a lot, this doesn't happen to Florida a lot, but the game will speed up on you. If something, an odd man rush, pass that gets by you, then the game starts speeding up. Edmonton will bring it in fast, and the game will speed up right on you, and you have to rely on Bobrovsky, which usually he is good in net, but can't rely on the goalie every single time. It was a kind of a story of game 4.
Yeah, for sure. Oilers need to play with all their heart, all their strength, all their will going into this third period, or else their season's over. They'll lose again in the Stanley Cup final, and again the Panthers would be Stanley Cup champions once again, and would go back-to-back and successfully defend their Stanley Cup. One more period, or we see overtime. We will see if Edmonton were to come back, but right now it looks pretty bleak. But Edmonton has had 8 multi-goal comebacks. Is that a good sign for them right now, as they've made a bunch of comebacks in these playoffs?
Yes, it is, and Florida needs to keep that in mind. This team can play from behind. They just need the momentum, and that momentum comes off 1 goal. 1 goal changes this game instantly. If it goes to Florida,
Then it game over probably.
that's going to be down tough. But if it's a goal for Edmonton, this game could change quickly. You have 20 minutes. You need 3 goals. That's doable.
Yeah, it's very doable for sure. Still a lot of time here in the third period. It's about to start. If Edmonton were to come back and win this game, probably the best comeback ever to stay off elimination, it will be Game 7 on Friday night, June 20th, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock p.m. Central. Our coverage here on NHL and MHS's coverage would continue for that 7th game, or this is it for our coverage for this year's season. We'll switch it over to the scoreboard as we're about to start the third period, and this is going to be very interesting.
You think you're allowed? You think that the YouTube will allow you to show, like, after the game, like the?
I have no. I did it last year, but I did like snippets. I did like cut it and then.
I think you should try.
Yeah, I should try. I did it last year, so.
In worst case scenario, you can just cut it out.
Yeah.
I think, because I just don't think you can, like, do game, but I think, because I see on YouTube, I saw one last year, like, they were, like, taking videos of the last 90 seconds.
Yeah.
And they did the whole presentation. But I wonder what will be the potential TNT wrap-off.
Mm-hmm.
What's the, NBA? How is that going? Did that...
I think the NBA Finals. Let me see. I think. Are we talking about TNT on NBA on TNT or?
Oh, that's over now. I'm just checking out the finals.
Okay.
Is there a game? No, there's a.
Right now, the Thunder lead it 3-2 in the series. It'll be tomorrow, or Thursday, when Game 6 will happen. The Thunder have a chance to eliminate the Pacers in Game 6. That'll be in Oklahoma City. So, interesting there. We will see. For the NBA Finals, that went to 6 games. Last year we had both, or not both the finals. We had the Mavericks and the Celtics. That went to 5 games. Last year's went to 7, the Stanley Cup Final. We might just have one more period left here in our coverage for this
The
year.
NHL season. I hope Edmonton continues this series. I will say. No, I'm not the biggest Florida fan.
I know why. Let me guess. Let me guess.
'Cause we can't ever beat them. But
Hurricanes. Oh, I hate Edmonton, so I hope Florida closes it out. Because you know what? Dallas can't beat Edmonton. So.
Now, Max, I know you are from Canada. I think you're from Canada. Am I right?
I'm not from Canada.
Oh, you're not. I don't know why. I guess it could be a win-win because then the United States will win the cup again.
I guess. Yep.
But I'm personally rooting for McDavid.
Verhaeghe behind the net now. As we start the third period, we will see if Florida can get that 4th goal, or will the Oilers get the comeback? Start the comeback at least, potentially. They need one quickly here, I believe. Draisaitl, now McDavid with the puck, leaves it in the middle. Ekholm couldn't get the shot away. He had some open room and a great stick lift from behind by one of the Panthers. Barkov will dump it back in. Ekholm will rim it all the way around for Bouchard. Hit there along the glass by Marchand. And dumped back in by Mikkola. Along the boards, Marchand couldn't knock it down. Mikkola, Kapanen now with the puck. A minute has passed here in the third period. What do you think Edmonton needs to do here? They need something. Along the boards, Kapanen leaves it up high. Wallman's shot saved by Bobrovsky again. Klingberg across. Wallman's shot was blocked. He'll leave it deep into the corner. Kane went down in the process. Nugent Hopkins. And that's behind the net. Kapanen gets it now. On his backhand. Pressured. Nugent Hopkins up high. Klingberg could not hold it in. It seemed like the passing just been sloppy here for the Edmonton Oilers. Wallman to Klingberg. Bennett trying to intercept. Sam Bennett's had a crazy postseason. Klingberg across. And Janmark deflects it back in. Kulikov. Brown trying to get it. Kachuk will pick it up. The other way come the Panthers. Into the middle, Bennett. Onside with Reinhardt. Shot. Bennett wide of it. Kachuk with the puck. Bennett leaves it. Reinhardt couldn't get the shot away. Pardon me, Rodriguez. That pass couldn't connect cleanly for Janmark. Along the glass. Kulak will get to the loose puck in the corner. Kulak shot. Blocked around and it goes back down the length of the ice and back out the center ice. Nurse with the puck. 2.5 has passed here in the third. Could be our potential final period of this 2024-25 NHL season. Or will the Oilers come back from a 3-goal deficit here in a Game 6 where their playoff lives are in jeopardy? Bouchard with the puck. Pressured Barkov. Barkov trying to get it in Podkolzin turned it over right to Barkov again. Forsling looking. Gustav Forsling dancing the blue line. Shot was blocked into the corner. Barkov will get it behind the net now. Along the boards. Trying to center for Verhaeghe. Goes blocked away by Bouchard. Here is Connor McDavid on the far side. Connor McDavid looking. Dropped it off. Draisaitl waiting. Waiting again. Draisaitl feeds it for McDavid behind the net. Trying to center it. And it goes through everybody. Ekholm was trying to get it. Draisaitl, another Bouchard who shoots it across for McDavid. Back for Bouchard. Shot. Saved by Bobrovsky again. Here is Bouchard again. McDavid now. Waiting. A high slot shot over the net and deflected out of play. A great shift for the Oilers, but nothing there for them.
They're trying to get something set up. Can you see McDavid? A lot of passes to him. Top out. Shot. Good stop by Bobrovsky. Look at it one more time. McDavid has it.
Yeah, I think that was
And that
blocked
shot just tipped
by
out of play.
Barkov. Yep, Barkov.
I want to see. Let's see. Oh. way over the head of Bobrovsky. That was a really good shift by Edmonton.
Maybe they can continue
They've
that.
had good shifts this game.
They need to continue that for sure to try to get
That's really
some
good goalie in net.
Bobrovsky's been
Definitely.
very good. Mikkola now moves it up for Jones. Mikkola again dumps it back in on goal, or towards the Edmonton goal. Marchand on the forecheck, couldn't get it much, and Henrique will look to move it up. This game could change with just one goal. Either it could be game over or game back on. Wallman behind the net. Has the puck between the circles in his own zone. Pass into the middle, deflected back in on the backhand. Schmid with the puck. Has it still, and he'll look to move it up. Nate Schmid will dump it back in. Kapanen, pressured by Gadjevic. Greer will rim it all the way around to the point. Held in by Kulikov. Dumps it deep into the corner, but intercepted there by Kulak. Henrique will look to move it up for Frederick, who gets hit at center ice. Schmid will shoot it back in. Skinner. Played off the wall for Nosek. Nurse will pick up the puck behind the net. And cleared out of the zone. Race for the puck here. Here's Nugent-Hopkins trying to cut in. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on the backhand. Save made by Bobrovsky. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with the puck again. Pressured off the puck by Nosek. Bouchard held it in for a moment, but cleared down the length of the ice now. Deflected, so no icing, but it didn't even have enough on it. More than 5 has passed here in the third period. Skinner makes a move at center ice. Jeff Skinner moving in. Lost it for a moment there and picked up by Bennett. Goes into the corner. Kachuk, and now Bennett trying to get the puck still. He gets the puck now. Can't clear it out of the zone, but a second effort by there. And it clears up the center ice. Bouchard back into the Oilers zone. Ekholm. And Bouchard with the puck. Pressured off the puck there. Mikkola will rim it all the way around behind the net for Rodriguez. Evan Rodriguez with the puck. Rims it all the way around for Bennett. Sam Bennett with the puck. Leaves it for Reinhardt behind the net, trying to go for the hat trick. Wouldn't that be crazy? A hat trick in a Stanley Cup clinching game. Here's McDavid onside. To Perry, back for McDavid. Couldn't get the shot away. Along the boards.
That was almost a great goal.
Wow.
What a pass.
Draisaitl trying to go short side and is denied. Ekholm. So Edmonton getting their chances, but they haven't been able to bury them. Barkov will flip it out to center ice. Verhaeghe steals it away. Carter Verhaeghe's in on the backhand. Couldn't get the shot away. Dropped it off shot. Lundell missed it.
That's how Florida will beat you on simple plays like that. They'll just get a quick steal
Wow.
and easily gain momentum.
Lundell into the middle for Marchand. Makes a move, Brad Marchand. No, he missed it wide. Lundell goes up high for Forsling. Edmonton does not need to allow this right now. They need to get in the offensive zone. Along the boards comes free. Lundell. Lusterinen along the boards still. Crowd is rallying here. 7 minutes have passed by in the third. Shot by Forsling was blocked from the point. Wow. Shot back in by Forsling. Kane will move it up for Connor Brown with the puck at center ice. Onside is Kulak, but knocked away and out to center ice it goes. Race for the puck here. Sam Bennett can't get to it.
Crowd's chanting, we won the cup.
Oh boy. Well, the cup is probably being shined at the moment. Kapanen is in. Trying to center it. Goes into the corner instead. Schmid will get to the loose puck. Kapanen pressuring him. Bennett trying to clear it. Held in. Kane's shot wide of the net. 24 saves for Bobrovsky. Kulikov. He's been great in net. He needs to be great for another 12 minutes. Kulak with the
Game's
puck.
getting quick.
Yeah, it's getting quick.
This game, watch the time as it goes down. They're going to get much faster and much quicker.
Here's
as they're running out of
McDavid.
time.
Connor McDavid couldn't get much there.
Trip.
Should have been one.
No
Bouchard shot. Blocked out in front of the net and cleared. And Florida might have gotten away with one there. That could have been a potential interference. And the crowd rallying here in Florida. Draisaitl with the puck will shoot it back in. 11 and a half to go in the third period. McDavid behind the net. Trying to center it. Goes up high for Bouchard. Shot! Wide of the net. It deflected. Perry couldn't get a shot away. Jones will clear it out to center ice. Bouchard will pass it into the middle for McDavid. Drops it off, and it's offside at the line.
Offside. Wow.
It's been some great opportunity. I don't know about. Ooh.
Oh, that's a trip.
That should have been
No
one
penalty.
Oh, McDavid almost got
Florida,
this one.
Florida gets away with one. 3-zip.
Oh, wow. Well, Florida might have gone away with one there, but they're still up 3-0. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Welcome back to the NHL Stanley Cup Finals on MHS. We're running out of time. The Edmonton Oilers are running out of time. 10 minutes and 57 seconds to go.
What?
The cup has been put up right on the banner with the Stanley Cup guy with his white gloves. So the cup will be soon in the building. McDavid went to the referee talking about that trip.
There's been
He
no
wanted
power
a trip.
plays.
It looked like he was tripped.
11
no
11
power
to
plays,
go.
no score. For Edmonton, they do the face-off at center. And you're probably running down to about maybe one, two more TV timeouts.
Mikula will shoot
So
it
no
back
chance
in.
for us.
And off the boards here. So the Florida Panthers, Kachuk try to center it. And could not go. Mikula will send it all the way around on the perimeter. Rodriguez, if you're just tuning in with us, Florida's up at 3-0. They lead the series 3-2. They have outscored the Edmonton Oilers in the past 2 games, 8-2 so far. Save made by Bobrovsky is 25th. As Mikula trying to get it. Bennett with the puck. Circling around, pressured. Oilers need one here, desperately. Klingberg up high. John Klingberg across. Woman's shot. Save made by Bobrovsky again. 26
Mile-per-hour
saves.
shot, easy for Bobrovsky. We under 10 to go. Just around that 10-minute mark of the third period.
Bennett will dump it back in. And here's McDavid again, trying to create some magic.
We're getting to this point of the game where you got to take chances now. Season's down to this, and you're running out of time.
We are now officially halfway through the third period and halfway to a cup celebration. Here is a chance for Verhaeghe. Moving on a breakaway. Verhaeghe shoots, and he's stopped by Skinner. A huge save.
Solid positioning right there. Skinner. They get a breakaway. We can see another TV timeout. Verhaeghe, shot. Get the stop.
We'll be back, everybody. 3-0, Panthers. We welcome you back to the Stanley Cup Final. It's a 3-0 lead for the Florida Panthers. There's Brady and Keith Tkachuk trying to celebrate another Stanley Cup of Matthew Tkachuk, as the Panthers are 9:47 away from winning back-to-back Stanley Cups. Face-off in the Edmonton zone. 26-19, the shots favoring the Oilers. Face-off. Won by Edmonton. Kulak trying to get it out of his own zone. Pressured. And out to center ice it goes, and Schmid will shoot it back in from the blue line. What do you think Edmonton should have said in that TV timeout?
Play like your season's on the line. Who cares what happens after this point? You need to score a goal. Do the best that you can to put the puck in the back of the net. More aggressive. Be more aggressive. Be more aggressive towards getting the puck. Do not have any don't be conservative at all from this point on.
For sure.
And if you're Florida, you just want to let that clock tick down. 9:26 to go, up by 3 goals. And honestly, I think if the score line stays the same right now, I think we'll probably see Stuart Skinner go in about 5 minutes.
Ekholm has the puck. Edmonton season to 9 minutes. The NHL season to 9 minutes. Florida 9 minutes away from a cup. Off the glass. Edmonton could really use a power play. Bouchard
Definitely.
looks to move it up. There's been no power plays in the game. There probably could have been one. McDavid was arguing for a power play. Instead, he does not get the call. Reinhart gets cross-checked from behind. Verhaeghe couldn't get it out of the reach, and Perry passes it across for Bouchard. Evan Bouchard flips it to the middle. Forsling. Nothing's just going for the Edmonton Oilers right now. They have just continued to try to dump it into the zone and try to chase it for it. Instead, the Panthers have been able to get to the loose puck first. Deflected back in, so no icing with less than 8.5 to go in the third period in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. Held in by Kane along the boards. Kapanen sends it deep. Mikkola trying to get it. Nugent-Hopkins pressured along the wall. Oilers trying to get one here, but Luostarinen looks to clear it. Could not. Kane shot wide of the net. I don't think Bobrovsky even saw that one going. No icing there. Wallman behind his own net. With less than 8 minutes to go, turned it over. Tkachuk in. Tkachuk across. Save Skinner. Bennett on the rebound. Couldn't pink it in.
Wow, Skinner keeping them in this game so far. Second turnover of the game right there that almost led to a goal for Florida.
Schmidt's shot deflected towards the net. Tkachuk along the boards gets taken down along the wall and picked up here by Edmonton. They cannot be doing that. That wastes valuable time for the Edmonton Oilers for sure. They got to be in the Florida zone, and they haven't been able to get much since that last TV timeout. Dumped back in by Barkov. Here's Kulak. 7:10 to go in the third. Jeff Skinner makes his way through, weaving in. Couldn't get much there as Ekblad flips it down the length of the ice for an icing with 7 minutes to go.
And right now, listening to the broadcast, there's some frustration on the Edmonton bench. Team hearing door slamming, faces looking in distress, and
there goes
watch
Skinner.
out for Skinner. Might get a timeout. Yeah, timeout here, I think.
No, Skinner's going to the bench with 7 minutes.
You think they pull the goalie now?
They did. Wow, I've never seen this.
They do, though. It's not a timeout. It's an empty net. Empty net was 7 minutes. Here we go.
Edmonton needs 3, and they have empty net at the other end. Extra skater on the ice for the Oilers. They need 3. Bouchard across for McDavid. This could be a defining moment for McDavid if they could maybe be able to do
Top
this.
line out.
Ekblad lost it.
Top line
McDavid.
out.
Here's Verhaeghe. Moves it. Blocked away on the chance for the empty net. Verhaeghe leaves it. Barkov across. Reinhart for the hat trick. He scores! Sam Reinhart with the hat trick. It's 4-0 Florida.
It just blows up in the Edmonton zone, even with the best line on. It doesn't matter. Florida able to move it down. Hat-trick night for Sam Reinhart. Snipes one from the right corner. And Florida, barring a crazy comeback, will be your 2025 Stanley Cup champions. It's getting safe to say it. The 4th player ever in NHL history with that defeat. Barkov will find himself an assist. Look, trying to find a block, the Edmonton defender, and right into the back of the net. And the Florida Panthers will go back-to-back. They're the Kachuk, Reinhart, hat trick right in front of the Edmonton bench, and all they can do is watch. It's honestly, Stanley Cup's kind of feeling like the New Jersey Devil LA King one from a few seasons ago. Actually, many seasons ago, back in 2012.
This reminds me of the
So Reinhart
Florida one, where it was
Reinhart just skates down. He loses the puck, but a recover. Barkov, nobody covering. Is that McDavid maybe? Look at the Florida bench. They love it. Crowd loves it. Edmonton can only watch. McDavid, it's a tough one for Connor McDavid. He has been in this cup, didn't win it last year, had another chance this year, and again, they come up just short.
6:34 to go, and it's a 4-0 lead for the Panthers. And they are just 6.5 minutes away from lifting the Stanley Cup again. Nurse and, well, the Oilers. Who do we think gets this Conn Smythe here? Someone just said in our chat, who do you think Conn Smythe, Bennett or Marchand for the Florida side of things?
Reinhart with the... Conn Smythe is the MVP for the whole series, correct?
For the whole postseason, I think. Or for the series, I'm not sure.
Honestly, I think Brad Marchand. I would love to see Brad Marchand get one. Conn Smythe. But Reinhart, anybody could get it. Bobrovsky, though. Bobrovsky really deserves it. He deserves it. By the way, last season, the Conn Smythe Trophy winner went to Connor McDavid, the losing team. I think that was the first or second time in NHL history.
The first time was John Sebastian Seguer in 2003, the Mighty Ducks and the New Jersey Devils, when the Devils won 3-0 in Game 7. There's the cup. It's being shined. 5:56 away.
Put that thing down.
5:56.
Shine it up.
Shine it up. 5:56 left. And, man, has this been a very dominating effort by the Florida Panthers. And don't leave yet. I know the score is so lopsided. You're probably like, okay, what do I got to watch here? We'll have our cup celebration ceremony after this game is over. Batman will come out, Conn Smythe, Stanley Cup celebration, and we'll give our final remarks for the season as the season's coming to a close in 6 minutes. And so, yeah, this is it basically for the NHL for a little bit. AHL playoffs are still going. The Calder Cup final, Abbotsford and go ahead.
It feels like the NHL though has, in my opinion, the shortest offseason.
Yeah, it does have.
Like it's like I can see how long it is. The NHL always has a shorter offseason.
Yeah, it's like after June, it's like July, August, and then you're back to training camp in September.
So here's the timeline. You got Cup final ends early to mid-June, so middle of June. Training camps begin in September, and the regular season begins in early October. So after the Stanley Cup final, it's about 3.5 months off season. So
NFL's very long. We'll have our NFL coverage soon.
Yeah, the NFL's off season lasts 7 months.
So we'll have NFL coverage before NHL coverage resumes next season, but we still have 5:56 left of this season. 4-0 Panthers. Skinner's on the bench again. They're doing it again. They're pulling the goalie once again. And so the Edmonton Oilers want to add on to the misery if they get scored on once again, and they almost did right there off the faceoff. Reinhart could have been a 4-goal game. Ekblad will get it along the boards. Here's McDavid with the puck in the corner. We'll go back to the point. Ekholm across for Bouchard. Back for Ekholm again. Here's McDavid along the boards with 5.5 minutes to go in the third. Draisaitl behind the net. Rims it all the way around back to the point for Ekholm. Up high for Bouchard at the blue line. McDavid to Ekholm's shot. Deflected just wide of the net. Draisaitl goes up. Ekholm across. Bouchard with the puck to McDavid. Shot towards the net was blocked by Ekblad. Great defensive play there. Reinhart leaves it. Ekblad. Reinhart again for the 4-goal game. Rolling towards the empty net. Scores!
Four goals for Reinhart.
4-goal game.
Unbelievable. Sam Reinhart might be making a case. It's a 4-goal night. And he just has Edmonton defenders all over him and into the empty net.
That alone
That's his 11th goal this playoffs.
might be the Conn Smythe winner.
The NHL has a hard decision, and you see Connor McDavid.
Again, losing the cup, and there's Kapanen.
Oh boy. Might be crying on the bench right there. McDavid just looks on and wow. First since Wayne Gretzky in 1985. Fourth in modern era.
Wow. Deflected, and it's sent back in. Corey Perry curse lives on, as Corey Perry cannot win a cup since 07. Shot from the line. Wide. Loose score on the rebound. Edmonton finally gets on the board. Podkolzin. And Edmonton gets one back.
Did they not have the net empty?
Nope. Now it's 5-1. And so Edmonton.
Well, it's just a really good default. Bobrovsky just didn't know where it was. Good poke in, but you see Edmonton after they score that goal. I've never seen a team more disappointed to score a goal.
That's 2 goals in a couple of seconds.
I've never seen a team. Yeah, it is.
A little too late for Edmonton.
I've never seen a team more disappointed to score a goal.
Little too late for Edmonton. 4:42 to go. They finally get on the board, but they're down 5-1. Even when it's a blowout game, they still got to make it high scoring. So, this series has been a high scoring one for sure. We have not had any like 3-2 games. No, we haven't had none of that. We've had a lot of high scoring games like this. Wallman banks it off the boards. The question is here, I'm going to ask you, what's worse, missing the playoffs back-to-back years or losing in the Cup final back-to-back years?
That's a tough question because I feel like the obvious answer would be losing in the Cup final. Or, sorry, missing the playoffs back-to-back year. But when you make the Cup and you don't go all the way, I mean, it is just a pain. It's not, when your team doesn't make the playoffs, that's not a sting. When the Cowboys for the National Football League didn't make the playoffs this year, it wasn't a sting. When they lost in the playoffs to the Packers a few years ago, 2023, it was a sting. Anytime you lose in the playoffs, it is just a sting. And this has got a sting for any Edmonton fan and the Edmonton Oilers players because they come back-to-back years playing the same team. And
turnover here, Lundell shot wide of the net. Marchand couldn't get on the rebound. Sorry.
Last year they were 1 goal short, and this year they'll be 2 games short. But Edmonton's not done yet. They're still going to have chances. Edmonton will still have chances in the future years, but You talk about Connor McDavid now. I don't see him ever leaving Edmonton. He'll be coming up on 29 next playoffs year.
Here's Rodriguez, drops it out for Kachuk, and then it's sent deep into the corner for Rodriguez. What I'm hoping next year is a different final, guys. I don't want to see Florida and Edmonton again. Wouldn't that be fun, Nikola? I want.
Well, this was a pretty good final.
It was. But imagine a Dallas-Carolina final. Ooh, that would have fed families. The Logan Stankoven and the Rantanen, they had the story right there. Perfect. It would have been a perfect final.
Hey, that story might not be over yet.
That might not be over yet,
Just saying,
obviously.
that story.
It could be next season.
Dallas could be a runner-up.
It's a penalty.
Looks like penalty here. We're gonna get Evander Kane went after Kachuk. It's a misconduct for, and then yeah, you see the frustration. Look at a replay here. Kane just kind of shoving
the
Kachuk.
slash. Yeah.
Ugh, flashing right there.
Well, I think Kane's been guilty of some dumb plays in this series. He's taken some stupid penalties in this series. Game 3, 4.
Seconds. He went for seconds right there.
Yeah, he went for seconds again.
I'm not a fan of that play right there.
No, that's a dirty.
I know you're down. I know you're down big, but you don't need to be taking shots at the other team.
So Marchand, this will be his third cup, his first with his new team. He won previously in 2011 and not 2013. This is his second cup. I thought he won in 2013. Pardon me. Yeah, Boston made it to the final in 2013. This will be his second cup, actually.
Well, there's gonna be a lot of cool stories next year to see. Can the Blackhawks turn on? Can they turn on with Connor Bedard? Will the Golden Knights continue their legacy in the Pacific? Great team. Will the Sharks ever find a rebound? Can the Kraken make it back to the playoffs?
Will Dallas ever get over the conference final hump? Yeah.
Will Carolina ever get over?
Here's
Eastern
Lundell. He
Conference hump?
shoots and a save made.
Can the Penguins, Islanders, and Rangers respond and go back to the playoffs?
Can the Capitals get over the second round?
They say goodbye. Will the Jets continue their hot presence?
Well, we are
What about the Utah team?
Yeah, we are about to be.
Utah Mammoth. First season for them.
We are
This was a
about to
great
be
season, though.
1 minute away from
Last
the
minute.
end of this season.
It was fun, though. There were fun games in this playoffs. But the better team comes down to win. And Florida, again, proving why they were the best team. This team was a first-round exit, non-making playoff team a few years ago. They've been to 3 Cup finals in a row. And now they're going to have their second, back-to-back.
Can they go like Tampa Bay did the other year when they were back-to-back? Can they go to a third or a fourth straight final and try to go triple cups and try to live up to that Edmonton and Islanders dynasties? We'll see if the Panthers ever get that dynasty looking. But we got 15 seconds left in the third period. The celebration starting in Sunrise. The sun is rising in Florida as the Panthers are back-to-back Stanley Cup champions.
The Florida Panthers are the Stanley Cup champs. Back-to-back. A dynasty and perfection. They celebrate on home ice in back-to-back seasons. I'd like to see who's that at center ice for Edmonton. I might have saw somebody. It might have been a camera operator.
The confetti coming down from Emeren Bank Arena. The 2025 Stanley Cup champions are the Florida Panthers. Back-to-back, they successfully defend their Stanley Cup championship.
I look back, there was a single Edmonton player, one at the blue line on a knee. I think Skinner was a net.
There's McDavid.
It's a tough scene to watch, and it's more of McDavid right there. It's more of a tough scene to look at when it comes back-to-back years in the same building. And McDavid, one great year, nothing to show for it.
Wow. And again for the
Sergei
Oilers,
Bobrovsky.
they lose in Florida again. And the handshakes.
2 in a row for head coach
Paul Maurice had not won a cup for so long. And the past 2 years, he has won 2 Stanley Cups. He had gone to the finals once or twice before he won his first one. 2002 with the Hurricanes against the Red Wings, lost in 5. Then against Vegas in 2023 with the Florida Panthers. And the best thing in sports, in the hockey, is the handshake line. As everyone lines up for the handshakes here. And I'm just wondering who's going to be the Conn Smythe winner. Who is going to pass the cup around
like
and all that stuff.
The coaches for Florida, they think that the handshake line's for the players, not the coaches. I think you got some of the coaches for Edmonton in the line.
They're all
Personally,
waiting there.
I disagree with that. Yep.
And so, the Panthers are back-to-back.
I disagree with that. I think coaches should be in the line. I think everybody should shake hands, even if you are a coach. But that is another
There's
different
Kachuk
topic.
trying to hype the crowd there. Sergei Bobrovsky, brilliant again in these playoffs. The Rats flying onto the ice again for another Stanley Cup celebration. 5-1, your final score. Don't go anywhere. We'll have our Cup celebration coverage, the ceremony with Gary Bettman, Bill Daly, with the Conn Smythe winner. And these are 3 choices I have for the Conn Smythe. I'd see Reinhart for just this game. Marchand, or actually have 4. Bennett is also a high-worthy one. And Bobrovsky. Those are the 4 I'm thinking could potentially win this thing. And Perry has not won a cup since 07, and he's lost like 5 of the last 6 Stanley Cup finals. Lost with Dallas, lost with Tampa, lost with Montreal, lost with Edmonton twice. The Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup champions again. Next year, what will be the question? Well, who's going to be the champions next year? Will they dethrone? Will this be the start of a Florida dynasty for the Panthers? Florida can't stop winning cups, apparently. Everyone hugging each other. Barkov, all the coaches, staff, medical crew, equipment managers, families, general managers. Everyone onto the ice as the Panthers win it again. Back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. This franchise was at the bottom of the league at one point. And now, years later, after all those playoff upsets, 2016 against the Islanders, 2021 with Tampa Bay, President's Trophy winners in 2022 lost to Tampa Bay again. They finally get over the hump after losing to Vegas in 2023 and go back-to-back. And the market has grown for the Panthers as everyone's all together, family, everyone all celebrating inside Edmonton Bank Arena as the Panthers win the series in 6. Paul Maurice and Gadjevich right there. Paul Maurice's second cup as a head coach. And in just a moment, we're going to have our cup celebration coverage. Who do you think is going to win the Conn Smythe here?
That's the tight question. Brad Marchand. I think it's between Sam Reinhart, Brad Marchand,
Sam
and
Bennett.
Sergei Bobrovsky, but
We'll see.
was it Bennett who scored 4 goals?
No, I mean, Bennett has scored a lot in this series. Oh, that's one of the babies just sleeping during the cup celebration. One of the Kachuk, I think. 6 goals for
This is a tough one.
Marchand in the final.
In my opinion, this team was rounded with good players. with one solid goalie. I think if Florida does not have Kachuk, they're not able to win. I personally think Bobrovsky, he had that one fluke goal. I think Bobrovsky's got to be the one. That's just what I think, though.
Kachuk came here in 2022 when he left Calgary, when Johnny Gaudreau went to Columbus, and then he didn't want to stay. Rest in peace, Johnny Gaudreau, this season. Terrible tragedy at the before the season started. There's Brad Marchand's family right there, but you got to think Kachuk's probably thinking about Gaudreau at this point. They were together for the Calgary Flames, and probably thinking he won this for him, for Johnny Gaudreau. The Stanley Cup presentation. The Oilers again lose in the Stanley Cup final. The Panthers rejoice as they've won it again. They continue to win. There's no limit to how much times they win. Will this be a dynasty in the future? We will see. They're back-to-back. And the question next year is, obviously, can they go 3 times in a row? Is it possible?
It's the hardest thing. Hardest thing to do in sports is make a three-peat. And Florida will make that attempt.
For sure. But there's a lot of other teams next year coming in. Dallas has been there. Carolina's been there. Been close to it, actually. But, I mean, those teams could go over the hump. Edmonton, always a tough contender. Vegas is still in the run. Washington. Maybe the Rangers if they get their act together. They just traded Kreider, I think, the Rangers. Don't go anywhere, everybody, as we are minutes away from the presentation of the Stanley Cup. And we peaked 68 viewers. Could be 70 at this point. Thank you very much. Cup clinching game. This will end our coverage of these NHL coverage here this year. And switch it over and see what's going on here inside of Emirates Bank Arena. Post-game show, post-game coverage. Still celebrating there. No, there's no cup being presented just yet. They're getting the carpet ready, I think. Photographs being taken. And there's the cup. There it is.
I think it's going to Bobrovsky. People thinking Bennett, though. Bennett would be deserving of it as well. So we'll see right now.
Would be deserving of it for sure. That's an understatement for sure.
Everyone think it's Bennett.
Sam Bennett seems a highly contender. Yep. We'll listen in.
Please direct your attention to the ice for the presentation of the Conn Smythe Trophy to the most valuable player of the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs.
There's Gary Bettman.
Good evening, South Florida. It feels like we just did this. Let's congratulate the Oilers and the Panthers for a terrific rematch of the Stanley Cup Final. The Conn Smythe Trophy goes to the most valuable player in the playoffs. It's only fitting that this year it goes to the leading goal scorer, Sam Bennett.
There's your answer.
Bennett.
Well deserved.
Well deserved. Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. We said it at the same time. Did you hear that?
15 goals.
Season, including 5 in the
Stanley
Cup final.
This team, in my opinion, as Bennett rounds it off, or pardon me, Bennett gets Conn Smythe, Bobrovsky rounds it off.
There's Sam Bennett with the Conn Smythe celebrating with it. but the Stanley Cup's coming in just a moment. That's what they're ready for in Sunrise.
At the center ice position.
Everyone's ready for that Stanley Cup. There it is. There's the cup being presented here in Sunrise.
Of the Panthers.
Here it is. The best trophy in sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Stanley Cup.
The Stanley Cup is the most iconic trophy in sports and the most difficult to win. And while it may be difficult to win once, to do it twice in a row is almost impossible. You can't win it twice in a row unless you have commitment, leadership, passion, a great fan base, and a great organization, starting with Vinny and Teresa Viola, Matt Caldwell, Bill Zito, Paul Maurice. And again, you fans have proven that hockey works in the sunshine. Alexander Barkov, let's do it again.
$359 days later.
Well, this feels like deja vu.
359 days later. Lifts the cup.
Again. They're running it back.
And now Barkov will take it.
There's
first
Barkov.
man.
He lifts it up. Oh, boy. Here we go. Welp. The Florida Panthers do it again. First European-born player to captain 2 Stanley Cup winning teams. Wow. And he passes it to Nate Schmidt. First time he's won the Stanley Cup. Well, wow. Can you believe it again? That they're doing it again. They've done it again.
Matthew Tkachuk directing traffic, telling Schmidt to take it all the way around the rink.
Wow.
Something he will never, ever forget.
And it is Seth Jones, first time Stanley Cup champion. Got traded here from Chicago at the trade deadline, and he's won a Stanley Cup now. Great trade. He is really good with Florida. Seth Jones. Florida did very good moves at the trade deadline for sure. Getting Seth Jones, Brad Marchand. Wow. Just wow. Jones is going to give it to Nosek next.
Like Kenny Albert said, it's the first time he's won a Stanley Cup as well. Beautiful shot there. So what do you think about this end of the season?
The better team will win, and Florida proved that they were the better team. But this was a great season. Alexander Ovechkin breaking the scoring record. Panthers go back-to-back. And this team has a legitimate chance of winning 3 in a row.
There's Vanacek. That's his first, I believe, Stanley Cup as well. And wow. The Florida Panthers have done it again. They deserve this for sure. They had a very difficult playoffs this year. Remember when they were down 2-0 to Toronto Maple Leafs? And they were down 3-1 in that game 3? Down in that series, they came back. When is the parade? I'm not sure. Wow. Insane. Greer picking up the cup as well for the Panthers. Crowd is still here. Basically still full. And they have deserved this. The Panthers deserve this. Again. Just, can you believe that they came back from 2 down against Toronto? Can you believe that?
It's one goal that turns into one game, that turns into one series that can win you the Stanley Cup.
Brad Marchand,
if they don't come back
save
against
season.
Toronto, then we could see a whole different result.
Could have had Carolina in the final. But no, Toronto just likes to choke, so Toronto's still a laughing joke, guys. And that is... Who is that? I don't even have him in my lineup. Oh, that's Samoskevich. He did not play, I think. Comes in his uniform. He wins the cup here. Made some appearances in these playoffs, I think. The rookie for the Panthers. And so, the Panthers, again, are Stanley Cup champions once again. There is Balinskis. Did not play in the series, though. Someone in the chat just said, I am in tears. And that's the emotion of winning the Stanley Cup for sure. Could be for either way, but those are happy tears because they have a Miami Dolphins profile pic. So Panthers win it again. Just a... Ricky Stickles said, yes, I can believe that Toronto choked. Toronto's still a running joke in this these NHL. If Toronto wins that series, do you think Carolina goes to the final instead of Toronto? Yeah, they beat Florida. Oh, there's a Bud Light by Reinhart. Reinhart with 4 goals in the game. Got a hat trick and added another one there. Toronto has it choked every year since 2013. There's a compilation that's funny. Yeah, I've watched that compilation too much times. That's too funny. Oh my goodness. So the cup's being passed around here. And the question is for sure, can they three-peat? Do you think this Florida squad has enough energy? They've been at 3 straight cup finals. They haven't had much rest in the offseason. Will it be a challenge to go to three-peat? There's Bobrovsky with the cup now.
I think they can.
You think they can? Wow. Bobrovsky lifting the cup again. Remember when Bobrovsky's contract was viewed as terrible, $10 million, and the Panthers were wanting to trade him or get rid of that contract? Well, now they don't want to do that anymore.
Sergei Bobrovsky's won them back-to-back cups. As we are the champions are playing. There's Marchand. Came here from Boston on the trade deadline. Look at the last second on the trade deadline. His first cup since 2011 with Boston against Vancouver. Someone said in the chat, if they can bring back Bennett and Marchand with pay cuts, they will three-peat. Do you agree with that?
You guys said it many a time. He was probably the most hated guy that they played against.
It's Marchand's mom.
I gotta agree.
That's what we used to always say.
There's going to be some questions, obviously. You got to re-sign some players, obviously, going into this offseason. Right now, they're not thinking of that right now. They're just celebrating their hearts out. But whenever they have to get to that point, which is pretty soon, the question is what will happen to some of these players. Bennett's going to be, I believe, a restricted free agent or a UFA. It's Kulikov with the cup now. And I think Marchand's a restricted free agent or a UFA. I'm not sure. Either way, they're going to be a free agent somehow, some way. So Florida will have to figure out some of that, obviously. Any team will have to figure that out. Any team will have to figure that out. The crowd is singing, "We are the champions" right now. It's loud inside of a Emirates Bank Arena. Wow. Just beautiful. The Stanley Cup celebration is just beautiful, isn't it? There's Ekblad. Bobrovsky was 5-2 at home in the last two Stanley Cup Finals.
I lied. It's good to see. It's not amazing. It would only be amazing if the Hurricanes and Sebastian Aho lift the cup over his head.
I'd like to disagree. I think it'd be better if Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin win the cup in Dallas. That'd be very amazing. Yep. Yeah. I think we're still salty that these two teams eliminated our teams. Little bit of the salt on the wounds there. No, really? Nah. Bennett is going to be fielding huge $12 million year offers. You agree with that? I mean, Bennett had a playoff of the best playoffs I've seen in a while.
Oh, yeah. He'll get some money. He'll get some money. Does he stay here in Florida?
There's Reinhart. 4-goal game. Got a hat trick. Fourth player to ever do so in a clinching game. Last time was Mark Stone, I believe, in 2023 against Florida. Someone said you think Marchand is retiring. I don't think so. If Marchand retire... Oh, I mean, Marchand's getting up there, though. This could potentially be his last season. I just don't see it, honestly. I think he'd want to go for more. What do you think? Do you think he retires, Marchand? There's Bennett.
He could, but I see him having one more
Conn
year
Smythe winner, Sam Bennett. These announcers aren't hockey guys, are they, lol? Okay. Sam Bennett raising the cup, and he's the Conn Smythe winner. And beautiful ceremony here as the Panthers do it again. Back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. And, wow. Tkachuk's next. Tkachuk scored to make it 2-0. He was the only goal scorer other than Reinhart to score in this game for the Panthers. Someone said, I doubt Marchie will retire. He's probably going to leave and look for a bigger contract. That's probably the case, honestly. I think Marchand's going to go for a big contract somewhere else. Well, they have to keep either one of two, Marchand or Bennett, for the Panthers. That's going to be the tough decision for sure. I think they'd stick with Bennett, though, honestly. But either one will have to go. And I think Ekblad has to re-sign, too, if I'm not mistaken. There's Brady Tkachuk. Got eliminated in the first round to Toronto. I don't know how that happened. How do you get eliminated to Toronto? Brady Tkachuk, captained that Ottawa squad, finally made the playoffs after 8 years. Forsling picks up the puck now, or picks up the cup. I'm still thinking this is play-by-play. This is the end of the hockey season for this year. We'll see you back for either preseason coverage. I don't know if we're going to do preseason. A guy could retire as the King Rat. He'd be an all-star. That could be the case for Marchand. Imagine winning in the Florida Panthers and there's a bunch of rats being thrown. Sixth player and to record 4 goals in Stanley Cup final game. Sam Reinhart. And the Panthers do it again. Back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. And it has been a great postseason for sure. To view at least. This is a very great postseason to watch this year. This was a very great postseason. Verhaeghe now will pick up the the cup. Keep saying the puck. As a Canucks fan, I never thought I'd see Luongo and Marchand lift the cup with the same organization. Well, that's one. Yep, I did not see that either. They faced each other in, I believe, 2011. Canucks in Boston. That was the last time Marchand won a cup. Not the last time he went to the final, though. He lost in 2013 with Chicago. The Panthers fans are still here. It's a packed house in Emirates Bank Arena. The Cup parade in probably a couple of days. And the Lightning with 2 recently. Cups in 2020 and 2021. Made it to the final in 2022. Lost. Then Florida made it to the final in 2023. Lost. They've won back-to-back now. Rodriguez picks up the cup now. Raises it. And just... I feel like this whole team made a significance. This whole entire roster made a significance in these playoffs for sure. Any player you can name right now made a significance in some way in this postseason run for the Panthers. And for the Oilers, what do you do now? You've been to 2 straight Cup finals and you lost both of them. What do you do now for the Oilers? What do you think?
Keep trying.
Keep trying.
Keep trying.
Mikkola picks up the cup now. You got to think Oilers get rid of Skinner this offseason and pay big money for attendee. That's a discussion point for sure. You think Edmonton needs a goalie?
I do.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they need a goalie.
They can get a stronger goalie in net, maybe more of a chance. Maybe a little more depth on the bench as well for them.
Mm-hmm. It'll be the question. Going in, these 2 finalists, again, will be the question heading into the next season. Who will be the next Stanley Cup champion? Will it be the Florida Panthers for the 3rd time? Or will it be some other team for once? Not for once. Florida did deserve this cup, for sure. Luce Arena now picking up the cup. And,
by the way, just to flashback how long it's been. Just a little flashback on how long it's been since we had the Florida Panthers not in the Stanley Cup final. That was the 2022 Stanley Cup final. That Cup final was against the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Colorado Avalanche.
So the last time we've had a Florida, not a non-Florida team make the final was 2019 with the Blues and the Bruins. So, wow. The past 6 years, there has been some Florida team making the final. Either Tampa Bay or the Panthers. Perry lost in the Cup finals how many years in a row now? Think Edmonton will get to the point that he's bad luck.
I don't want to make anybody feel old here. 2022 to today's date, 3 years ago. 2019 to this date, 6 years ago. The last time that Sidney Crosby won a Stanley Cup Ooh,
2017.
2017. So what would that be?
8 years ago. We last won a cup in 7 years ago. Only thing that the Oilers have going is they've made it there twice with awful goaltending. Oilers got to retool their defense. Yeah. Their defense needs some work. Their goalie needs some work. The Kachuk tell McDavid he'd see them next year in the finals again in the handshake line. If that happened again, now it's like, how do you even make it for a third time, these two teams again? Because you got to think, Florida's exhausted at this point. They're injured for sure. Can we talk about how much of a baby Evander Kane was? Dude, Kane blows. Yeah, Kane was kind of whining in this series for sure. In some points of this series. Oilers love signing degenerates like
Mac.
Perry and Carey, or Perry and Kane. Go ahead.
I gotta say, this was a great season, great games that I helped covered.
Mm-hmm.
Very good sign. Be back for next season.
I believe that's Bill Zito. So, we'll figure out the schedule and we'll post the schedule for next season. What the first game will be, we'll cover on NHL and MHS. If you haven't already, subscribe, tune in. We'll give other coverage for sports, maybe baseball, maybe football. But hockey's usually our main. And we'll have coverage of that when the hockey season returns in October. So, hopefully.
See y'all then.
Paul Maurice again, lifting a cup. Kissing a little bit too passionately with the cup. I don't blame him. He's a little too into it. Oilers lose, Canada wins. Yow. Okay, well, that comment just made the chat. It's a funny comment. Wow. So the Panthers, I feel like I've been saying this for like the past 30 minutes, are Stanley Cup champions for back-to-back years. And, yeah, this has been a great season to cover. And the Panthers will look to go for a three-peat next season. And there's everybody there. Panthers, Stanley Cup champions again. And everyone just getting their turns at lifting the cup. Probably the best feeling there is winning the cup or either being in the building as a fan and seeing your team win a cup at home. Probably the best feeling in sports. Florida team are dogs, bro. They keep coming back until someone builds a steam engine of a team. I mean, that's true. Someone has to. The steam engine will be the 2026 Vancouver Canucks. You heard it here first, folks. Okay. The 2026 Vancouver Canucks. We'll see. There's a lot of stories going into next season for a bunch of teams. We'll see. And we always have a shocker of a team being good. I remember when Vancouver did it last year. I don't think anyone expected Vancouver to be that good last year. I still would have taken Vancouver for the conference final a couple years ago against Dallas. I think they would have won. Just saying. If Vancouver just didn't blow Game 7. Sorry, bro. This is where friendship ends. Oh, great. I think they're going to take the cup picture now. Yeah, they got everybody lined up now, I think. Right in front of the display thing right there. Let me be delusional in peace. Yeah, these live chats have been like the funniest one. These two need to come back for next season. Y'all need to come back for next season when we do streams. Y'all are hilarious. The champions. 2025. There they are. Stanley Cup champions. The Florida Panthers. There is everyone getting together now. Now they're taking the picture. And the Pyro's going off. From CXX, I'm Max. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next season for the NHL.
Have a good one, y'all.
Florida Panthers win it. 5-1. See you next time.